start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so if everyone would please rise, and I'd ask Councilman Guadrone to please lead us in the pledge.
Everyone, reach your hand on the heart, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. This month, we are so proud to recognize members of the Hispanic community, and we're going to start with this evening's first honoree, Iris Cruz. Iris, I'd ask you to come forward. Iris is a native-born New Yorker from El Salvador. Her parents, immigrant parents from El Salvador. She became a first-generation college graduate, and though she holds a bachelor's degree in nursing, she has continued her education, pursuing a master's degree to become a nurse practitioner while maintaining her life-saving work as a registered nurse in the neuro ICU at Good Samaritan University Hospital. Iris is a model of achievement, pushing herself and constantly growing and learning, reflecting values our community holds dear as she strives to provide care for her neighbors and stay compassionate to all. Please, if everyone would join me in honoring Iris Cruz. Congratulations. And if the members of the town board would come up, we'll do a group photo. This isn't going to work then. Hold on.
Congratulations. Yes, indeed.
Yes. Our next honoree is a couple, James and Maureen Diaz, and I'd like to invite Councilman O'Connor to the podium to present their awards.
Reverend James and Maureen, if you would just stay there so you can see the ASL interpreter, okay? It gives me great pleasure as the town's chair of the Disability Advisory Board to recognize these next two individuals. James, born and raised in New York City, graduated from John F. Kennedy High School in the Bronx in 1976. After moving to Long Island in 2015, he continued his lifelong commitment to service as a pastor of the deaf ministry at Island Christian Church. He has worked tirelessly to ensure that the gospel is accessible to all, leading worship, retreats, revivals, and weekly Bible studies. Beyond ministry, James has also dedicated many years as a counselor supporting deaf, autistic, and developmentally disabled adults. Together with his wife Maureen, their 3 children, and 6 grandchildren, James is an inspiring example of faith and community leadership. Maureen's journey began in Jamaica, where she was raised before coming to the United States in 1996. Her resilience and perseverance have shaped a life devoted to service. She is currently pursuing her studies at the School of Ministry in Florida and will soon earn her certification diploma. Each year, Maureen volunteers at the Deaf Revival, and she leads weekly Bible studies on Zoom, offering encouragement and fellowship to deaf individuals and families. She also serves as a representative for the deaf community with Suffolk County's Department of Fire, Rescue, and Emergency Management, helping strengthen communication between first responders and those they serve. Together, James and Maureen Diaz embody compassion, faith, and advocacy. Their work has enriched countless lives, and today, we, the town of Islip, proudly recognize their remarkable contributions to our community. Reverend James and Maureen, congratulations. Please come up.
Congratulations. Our next honoree is DeSalma Melgar, and I'd invite Councilman Guadron to please make the presentation.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. Diosalma Melgar, known as Dio, is an exceptionally dedicated professional whose work for the Suffolk County Bar Association speaks to her education and dedication. Dio has demonstrated leadership and initiative in her actions as a co-chair for the Real Property Committee and for volunteering on multiple occasions to assist in coordinating mock trials, continuing her pursuit of furthering legal knowledge and education. Her drive to better the community goes beyond professional accomplishments, as she has continued to host free notary classes and organize food drives for food pantries for years. Both her achievements and her character that shines through them prove Dio's dedication to her neighbors, family, friends, and out of town. And I am grateful to honor such a person here today. Diosalma. God bless you. God bless you.
Our last honoree this evening is Melissa Escobar, and I'd ask Councilman Lorenzo to please make that presentation.
Good evening. A volunteer usher at St. Anne's Episcopal Church, Melissa Escobar is known for her contagious joy and commitment to her community. She welcomes members of the church and assists those in her community with warmth and kindness, helping in both English and Spanish. Melissa has become a cherished member of the church and her community at large. Melissa is trained to assist in physical, medical, and mental health emergencies and has showcased her dedication to helping others countless times. Let's take this moment to honor Melissa and all she does for our community together. Come on up, Melissa.
Gotcha. Let's hear it again for all of our honorees this evening. Okay. Just a couple of announcements before we begin. September is National Recovery Month. Across Islip Town, you'll see purple banners of flags and ribbons and lights have been shining as a part of Islip Goes Purple, a month-long initiative to raise awareness of mental health and substance abuse disorder, as well as celebrate those in recovery. Earlier this month, we kicked off this awareness campaign with our annual cupola lighting at Town Hall, and just this past Sunday, we celebrated the initiative with our Healing Strides Walk for Recovery at the East Islip Marina Park. There are more events to come, and I just ask that you check the website. And we want to thank Marian Pfeiffer and the Youth Enrichment Services Organization for all of their efforts on this initiative. Also, a quick reminder that voting is underway for USA Today's Top 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards airports, small airports in the country. The voting continues until October 6th, and right now, Islip MacArthur Airport stands at number 2. So with your help, if you go online and vote, hopefully we will be number 1, as we know we are. Lastly, as we officially say goodbye to summer, it doesn't put an end to the fun here in Islip. There are so many activities happening, so please check the full rec news, especially when we have our Fall Fest, the Apple Fest at Islip Grange on September 25th. Thank you so much, and we will get on with the meeting. What did I say? I stand corrected. It is October. October 25th. Thank you. We're going to begin by having the town clerk read an announcement regarding the 2026 tentative budget.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor and members of the Town Board. The tentative budget for 2026 has been filed in the office of the Town Clerk as required by New York State Town Law, Section 106, Subdivision 2. I am presenting to you the duly filed tentative budget at this scheduled public meeting pursuant to New York State Town Law, Section 106, Subdivision 3. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 4 scheduled public hearings this evening for the board's consideration. I'd ask the town clerk to please read the first hearing notice.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. Item number 1, to consider amending the Town of Islip Uniform Traffic Code.
Are there any questions or comments? I have no cards on this particular hearing. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to close the public hearing, offer the resolution for its adoption.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Hearing notice 2, please, Madam Clerk.
Item number 2, to amend Islip Town Code, Section 68-457, moratorium for the development of battery energy storage systems.
We have a number of people who have signed up to speak on the battery energy storage resolution. And before we go to them, because there are so many, I want to make sure that everybody understands where we are on this. The Town of Islip Town Board previously extended the moratorium on battery energy storage systems through September 30th of '25. At the September 16th meeting, which is this evening, the Town Board is holding a public hearing to consider extending the moratorium period for an additional 12 months. The purpose of the moratorium is to allow the town more time to adequately study the safety and environmental concerns related to battery energy storage systems, how best to safeguard our community, first responders, and infrastructure in the face of BESS-related emergencies, and to draft a code amendment to ensure that these units, if they are to be permitted within the town, are constructed and operating safely with proper emergency protocols in place. In furtherance of this purpose, the town is carefully reviewing the updated New York State Fire Prevention and Building Code, which was recently approved by the state for adoption. Their Fire Prevention and Building Code Council adopted it, which we have anticipated an effective date of December 31st. So it will give us time to review this. But for tonight's meeting, the hearing will be to consider extending the moratorium for an additional 12 months. So then we will now move to the speakers who wish to tell us that we should extend the moratorium. So we heard you already, but we'll go to these. James Diaz. James and Maureen Diaz. Did they have a statement?
They said they did. Can you go to?
Could you, excuse me, I would ask that you go to the microphone so that everyone can hear you as you're,
So do I have to move over here?
Yeah,
James
they-
Diaz, because I can't see.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, so you're talking about the battery issue, right? Yes, that's right. So we don't think that that area is a safe place, it's our community. And we try to avoid that, having those batteries stored in not a safe area because it's our community that it'll be affecting. And also, there's several deaf people there and they don't know about that, the new battery safety. They have no idea about the battery safety. Now, 1 second, I'm just gonna hold. They don't know about the battery, what is it called, the energy safety? They have no idea about that. Okay. So if there's deaf out there, they have no idea about how the area is going to be safe or affected by that battery. So they don't know if that battery, planning to put the batteries there is going to be safe for their community.
Okay. Very good. If you would just let the gentleman know that we understand that, and that's precisely why we're planning to extend the moratorium for an additional year at least.
Yeah, I think that's really good if you extend the moratorium, and wait, for
Great.
1 year.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Next speaker, Gail Panaro.
Good evening. My name is Gail Panero, and I live less than a half a mile from the proposed battery energy storage site on Rabro Drive. I'm not against renewable energy, but this project is dangerously close to homes, schools, and businesses, including Hirsch Fuel, BP Gas, Suffolk Bar Association, and companies in the Hauppauge Industrial Park. A fire or explosion here would not stay contained. It could ripple through our community, endangering lives, property, and infrastructure. This site also sits right off of Route 111 and near the LIE. In an emergency, limited egress could be trapping commuters and first responders. And even without fire, these systems vent toxic gases like hydrogen fluoride, gases that can kill in high concentrations and force mass evacuations. Families like mine, less than half a mile away, would most certainly be ordered to leave, with Route 111 and LIE becoming choke points. Tonight, the board is considering extending the moratorium on BESS until September 30th, 2026. That moratorium was enacted after fires in Jefferson, Orange, and Suffolk counties raised alarms. The town has already acknowledged this technology is still in its infancy, with the risk of toxic emissions, fire suppression failures, and groundwater contamination. The board is also preparing to amend chapters 36 and 68 of the town code, proof that the current laws do not yet protect residents, first responders, or our environment. If the rules are being rewritten because risks remain unresolved, it is reckless to let this project move forward now. Because this is a standalone battery plant, not a generational project, the state's fast-track sitting law does not automatically apply. Local law governs here, and that means the decision is yours. You have the authority and the obligation to put the safety of the residents ahead of the developers. A moratorium and zoning code must stand as the law unless Albany forcibly takes that power away. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin has said that calling it technology green energy does not mean that there are no environmental impacts. Senator Maria Matera has stated clearly that we cannot have these energy storage facilities in our neighborhood. We need renewable solutions, but not at the cost of safety. I urge this board to extend the moratorium, strengthen the code, and reject or pause this proposal until a safer site is found. Our community deserves progress that does not compromise health and safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Panzia. Chris Panzia. And Melissa Parrott is the next speaker on deck, so be ready.
Chris Panzaka, Town of Oyster Bay. When New York State is 0.4% greenhouse gas emissions, 0.4, there's no need to rush best technology and its proven dangers to residential communities or high voltage EMF emitting transmission lines surrounding our homes or schools, all for what? A law mandating overly aggressive targets. Infancy technology and these renewable promises are coming at the expense of our public health, safety, and environmental integrity, with no long-term residential health studies proving normal operations or disasters are safe for residents, our sole source aquifers, or the environment. Do not let lobbyists, PE firms, and LLCs be irresponsible, pushing their dangers on our communities for their profits. Why marry us to first-generation technology for years to come that will become pre-existing non-conforming when we could wait for better, safer technology which is being explored? Doreen Harris of NYSERDA has a ban in her town on these technologies. This rush to development should cause everyone pause, and we need you to protect residents of this community and ban with other townships that are protecting their residents. Time and time again, nothing prevents best fires. The new fire safety standards don't address the root cause of the problem or do anything to protect us. The batteries are unstable TNT, toxic, noxious, ticking time bombs. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Let it burn approaches, thermal runaways, toxic fallout with evacuations if they can happen, shelters in place, hazardous waste cleanups, and residential health issues is what they're bringing to our communities. Your board, like others, will contend with broken promises and new promises on safety, a bunch of sorries, unanswered questions, incomplete assessments with no baselines or list of contaminants, sickness, contaminated homes, lands, waterways, and class actions lawsuits. Don't let this horror happen to local human lives, the environment, or our aquifers of Long Island. This technology is not ready for prime time. Please stop these projects, oppose the Rapid Act, and keep control local where it belongs. Have your township work with the town of Oyster Bay, the town of North Hempstead, town of Hempstead, city of Glen Cove, so that all Long Island residents are protected from the dangers of these facilities. And remember, let's wait before it's too late and pause for a good cause, which is health and safety. And Monterey Supervisor Glenn Church called his incident a 3 Mile Island event, saying it's obvious that technology is ahead of both the government's ability to regulate it and private industry's ability to control it.
Thank you, Chris. Melissa? Melissa? Next will be Saman Khalil.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Melissa Peratt from Sayville, and I am also the Executive Director of Renewable Energy Long Island. Thank you. It's nice to be here. I am here to request that you do not extend the moratorium, the ban for a battery energy storage system, BESS, for an additional 12 months. Today, we are not here to comment on a specific BESS project, although I hope we do have that opportunity in the future. We are here to ask you to not extend an already extended 3 times, including this one, moratorium. BESSes today are safer due to advanced technology and the recently updated Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code that was amended on July 25th. Today, we are here to comment not on the specific site. Today we are safer due to advanced technology and the recently updated Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code. That was amended on July 25th, 2025, as you know. In fact, the failure rate has dropped 98% from 2018 to 2024, and lessons learned from early failures have incorporated into the latest designs and best practices. These statistics show us how much safer BESS has become and the urgent need for a backup power plan. Our energy use is increasing for a multitude of reasons, including AI, population growth, etc., and it's becoming clear we need a reliable energy backup. The best fire codes that are in place right now and the technology created in place right now are designed to reduce any issues and to put out those fires without incident to the surrounding area and population if they occur. Instead of enacting another moratorium, the town needs to instead enact an updated zoning code that lowers the risk of fire danger even more so we can move forward. BESS allows energy, renewable and natural gas, to be stored and transmitted when needed. Let energy stay on the grid instead of being lost. BESS also replaces the use of these peaker plants, which start up quickly to stabilize the grid during peak demand, but are also major polluters to our air quality. Having BESS significantly lowers CO2 and noxious emissions, significant for human health and to mitigate climate change. The town of Islip has twice adopted and extended moratoriums. The March 25th extension was approved by the Planning Commission on the condition that Islip appear after 3 months to report on progress with updates to their code for BESS facilities. To date, I don't think this has happened. As far as we can find, it was due in June. Towns in New York and Long Island have successfully implemented BESS zoning codes. The town of Poughkeepsie, for example, recently succeeded in lifting its BESS moratorium and passing a very well-conceived zoning code 4.3 with 4 tiers of systems under different levels of stringent scrutiny. We need to stop the moratoriums and progress
Melissa.
so we can move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seman Kalal. Next, Rich Bamonte.
Saman Khalil, S-A-M-A-N-K-H-A-L-I-L. Yeah, okay. Good evening. My name is Saman Khalil, and I'm a resident of Bayshore, New York. I will be speaking on the proposed 12-month extension of Islip's moratorium on battery energy storage system, also known as BESS. I understand why some people are worried about BESS. There are concerns about safety and making sure facilities are properly regulated. But through new technology and newly implemented fire codes, BESS will provide reliable backup power when we need it most. It helps us use more clean energy through solar and wind and will lower Long Island's electricity costs, which, as we know, are some of the highest costs in the country, as per New York Best. This is a smart investment, especially compared to the overpriced peaker plants, which burn dirty, unhealthy fossil fuels. This is why, after New York State's fire codes and updated technology, we need to vote on building a BESS, not a year-long. We need to vote on building a BESS, not a year-long pause. 12 months is too long for a few reasons. If we look at other towns in Suffolk County, most have done the work much faster. For instance, Riverhead had a 3-month moratorium and adopted a new BESS code April of 2023. Similarly, Southampton completed their BESS code this past June. 90% of towns in Long Island have never enacted a 12-month moratorium. Suffolk County Planning Commission has made it clear that this extension should be limited to 3 months. A full year would ignore that guidance and prolong progress. Therefore, I strongly encourage you all to consider a shorter accountable extension, 3 months with progress supports, which will help the community moving forward, educated and informed with clean and affordable energy responsibly. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Rich Bamonte. Rich Bamonte. I would ask everyone to please keep your comments. It's not necessary, really.
Not helpful.
And there are a lot of cards here. We're never going to get through it if you're going to keep delaying it by
Good
jeering
evening.
and clapping.
My
So,
name is Rich Bamonte.
Rich, you're up.
And I've been a resident of this community for over 50 years. My home is less than a quarter of a mile from the proposed battery storage site. I'm here tonight because I strongly oppose placing this facility so close to where people live, work, and worship. Lithium battery storage is not without serious risk. Across the country, we've seen accidents where battery fires have burned for days, releasing toxic smoke and requiring evacuations. These are not small, contained events. They can be dangerous, unpredictable, and extremely difficult to control once they start. What concerns me most in this location is this location. This site is surrounded by homes, schools, business, and even a church. If an accident were to occur here, it could put thousands of people at risk in a matter of minutes. Emergency responders would face enormous challenges protecting our community. And no amount of safety measures can erase the fact that we're talking about placing a hazardous industrial operation in the middle of a residential area. I am not against renewable energy or technology. I am against putting a high-risk facility in the wrong place. There are safer, more suitable sites that are not that are not next to neighborhoods, schools, or places where families gather. After decades of living here, I care deeply about the safety and future of this community. I ask you to do the right thing. Protect the people who live here and look elsewhere for this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Next speaker, Philip Buchler. Philip. Followed by Tammy Palmieri.
Yes. My name is Philip Buechler, P-H-I-L-L-I-P, last name B-U-E-C-H-L-E-R. Good evening. My name is Philip Buechler, and I proudly represent the members of IBEW Local 1049. Thank you, Supervisor Carpenter and members of the Town Board, for the opportunity to testify today. This project is a win for working families in the town of Islip. It will generate more than $3 million in new revenue for the town over its lifetime. It will be built by Long Island union workers using local materials, supporting tens of millions of dollars in wages and investment right here in our community. These are family-sustaining jobs that keep our economy strong and our members working close to home. At the same time, Long Islanders are paying over $470 million a year to keep outdated peaking plants online. That's 3 times what other New Yorkers pay. Battery storage will help reduce these costs by delivering more power more quickly and efficiently when the grid is under stress. In closing, this project means good jobs, new revenue, lower costs, and stronger reliability. On behalf of Local 1049 IBEW, I urge you to lift the moratorium and say yes to BESS. Thank you.
Thank you. Tammy.
Good evening, Tammy Palmieri from the great town of Babylon. We are hopeful you are extending Islip's moratorium on lithium BESS. Why? Because researchers in the industry, as well as insurance companies, say the battery chemistry is inherently dangerous, and there are no fire codes that are going to change that, and fire suppression systems fail. I am submitting to the board a report by Global UBE Insurance that identifies key risks, including design flaws and inadequate safety mechanisms. It goes on to say, the risks present complex challenges for BESS businesses and insurers, which is interesting. Reading through the state's BESS guidebook, model law, and updated fire codes, I cannot find any mention of a liability insurance mandate for BESS developers. I know the developer must hold a bond for decommissioning costs, but what about liability insurance to pay for hazmat cleanup of the surrounding community if needed? In such a densely populated area, how do you even put a number on that policy coverage? What if the developer files bankruptcy, like a best manufacturer, Powen, did recently, who, by the way, manufactured the best that went on fire in Warwick and also in Idaho, using lithium iron phosphate batteries, the same battery chemistry proposed for the Vabro site. With the history of lithium best fires here and around the world, no community should be left unprepared in the event of a catastrophe. Evacuation plans utilizing a wind modeling service should be used to track the toxic smoke's path of contamination for health and litigation purposes, and also independent air and soil testing before, during, and after the fire for health and litigation purposes. Moreover, decontamination plans for our firefighters and trucks that will be so close to the toxic smoke. Shame on New York State, of all places, for exposing our heroes to another toxic nightmare. Or will firefighters be told the great big lie once again that the air is safe? We will never forget. I understand the legal roadblocks that the Rapid Act has put in preventing a best ban here. Again, shame on New York State, but if lithium best developers understood the gravity of liability and responsibility to community, they may think twice about this reckless endangerment. There are better, safer batteries in the horizon. My last comment is about your moratorium ordinance, Section G, titled Applications That May Be Exempted from this moratorium. Line 2C reads, the planning board shall consider the proximity of a proposed BESS to residential areas, schools, etc. To ease your constituents' minds here tonight, can the board state tonight that a 79 megawatt lithium BESS on Rabro Drive is not within acceptable proximity to homes and schools, and therefore not allowed an exemption from this moratorium? I'm sure they'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mario Ferreri. Mario. And next will be John DeGeese.
Oh, yes, my name is Mario Ferrone, M-A-R-I-O, F-E-R-I-O, F-E-R-O-N-E. Good evening, my name is Mario Ferrone. I'm the Long Island organizer at Climate Jobs New York. We are a coalition of labor unions representing 2.6 million working men and women across New York. Our members are at the center of economies on Long Island and across New York State, and we are united around our goal of combating climate change while reversing income inequality. Tonight, I'm asking the board to not extend the moratorium on battery energy storage systems. These projects are critical to building a stronger, more reliable power grid. They help keep the lights on during outages, lower utility bills that are projected to rise as demand grows, and protect the community as storms and heat waves become more severe. Batteries are critical supporting a clean energy power grid by storing excess renewable power when they're made and dispatched during peak times. Yes. They also reduce the need for fuel from fossil fuel sources. As energy demand soars for the first time in decades, Long Islanders are faced with rising utility bills, and we need to bring more clean power on the grid. Battery storage helps us do just that. The town should be doing everything possible to guarantee affordable, stable, and reliable energy for its residents. Lifting the moratorium is a common sense step in the right direction. Beyond reliability, BESS projects bring tangible local benefits. With the right policy framework, they can create good paying jobs for union members who live right here on the island. They provide stable tax revenues to support our schools, roads, and local government. As stated already on July 25th, New York State officially adopted an updated energy storage safety code based on the best-in-class standards, using successes from the FDNY's rules around battery storage in New York City. By ending this moratorium, Islip can continue to lead on clean energy, protect families from the impacts of climate change, strengthen our grid, and put local residents to work. Thank you so much.
Next speaker, John DeGeose, followed by Emily Dwyer.
Hello, and thank you again for the opportunity to speak. John DeGiose, D-I-G-I-O-S-E. I'm in favor of the board extending the moratorium. My wife said to me, are you going to prepare anything to speak tonight? I said, no, I'm going to listen to what everybody else has to say, and I'm going to comment on it. Somebody commented that there's a 98% safety for these facilities now, with all the new technology and everything. I think 2% is a big enough number considering the proximity to homes, businesses, places of worship, schools, to take a hard look at it. The same way you can't build a cannabis site or an adult use within a certain radius of a home, a business, place of worship, school. That should be the criteria for these facilities. I'm in no way saying that these facilities aren't in our future. I'm just saying that where we put them is germane to the conversation. Also, we heard about firefighters, and I guess it referenced 9/11. Tragedy. Paid firefighters. That was their job. They were paid to do this job. We have a 100% volunteer fire department. We're asking people that are basically just doing a selfless act for no compensation at all to go out and try to fight these unfightable fires. It's, you know, I just think that there's a human side to all of this as well. My house, as I've said the last 2 times I've spoke about this, is less than a quarter of a mile from the site. It's not a NIMBY issue. It's putting something where it belongs as opposed to, you know, where the high tension wires are and the ability to access the grid. We understand that that would be very convenient for the electric to be, you know, that's the same reason why they put the transfer station there. So thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Emily Dwyer, thank you. Followed by Dawn Marie DiGios.
Good evening. My name is Emily Dwyer. I'm with Edgewise Energy, which is a battery storage and clean energy developer working here on Long Island. I'm also a lifelong Suffolk County resident myself, and I care deeply about the future of our grid. As you probably all remember from Superstorm Sandy, many of our homes, hospitals, schools, and other critical infrastructure lost power for extended periods of time. When the lights go out where they are most needed, lives are lost. We cannot afford to allow our grid to fall behind and be unable to support increasing energy demand. I'm here today to respectfully urge the town of Islip to lift the moratorium on battery energy storage systems and allow this technology to be implemented in our area to better our grid. BESS is the kind of smart, forward-thinking infrastructure that Long Island and New York State needs to support a cleaner, more reliable grid. It plays a critical role on reducing stress on our grid, cutting emissions, and keeping the lights on during peak demand or emergencies. It is also the fastest responding resource available today, able to meet peak demand when families are running air conditioning and appliances. I understand that safety is a top concern, and as a fellow Long Islander and developer, I share that concern. It is important to note that New York State recently updated its Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code to include comprehensive, enforceable BESS regulations among the strongest in the nation. These standards were developed with input from fire safety experts, first responders, and engineers, and they cover every aspect of safety, including fire containment and thermal runway prevention, strict setbacks and size limits, first responder access, training, and emergency response plans, third-party commissioning and ongoing maintenance, and fire-tested components. Independent third-party testing has also confirmed that there is no risk to public health beyond 100 feet in the extremely unlikely event of a fire. The proposed KCE New York 29 project is more than 2 football fields away from the nearest residence, over 7 times the safe distance. This project will also bring meaningful local benefits. Over its lifetime, it will generate more than $3 million in revenue for the town, while providing tens of millions of dollars in wages and investment in Long Island economy through union labor and locally sourced materials. Ratepayers spend over $470 million annually to maintain old fossil peaker plants, 3 times more than other New Yorkers. BESS offers a smarter, more affordable solution that will stabilize our grid and reduce electricity bills and support economic growth right here in Suffolk County. Extending this moratorium now would send the wrong message, that even responsible, code-compliant, clean energy projects on properly zoned land aren't welcome. With stringent safety standards now in place, and with so much stake for the reliability and affordability of our grid, there is no reason to continue to delay this. I urge the town to let the moratorium expire and allow projects like this to move forward. Long Island families, businesses, and critical services are counting on us. Thank you.
Dawn Marie. Marcus Habib on deck.
Hi. A simple Google search. Dawn Marie Jesus Christ. D-I-G-R-A. A simple Google search of BEST details the vast array of devastation these types of facilities have produced. Thermal runaway caused by overheating can trigger an explosion. The Hauppauge Industrial Park is home for many businesses, some using flammable chemicals, and any risk of explosion from this type of facility could ignite a chain reaction of epic proportions. This would put the community at risk. Additionally, with wooded areas nearby, any fire would spread quickly and provide additional threats of destruction to our area and the surrounding areas as well. The difficulty to contain or extinguish a fire from a lithium-ion battery plant involves evacuating the area and waiting for the fire to burn out, as these fires can reignite hours or even days later, increasing the destruction to anyone or anything around it. The health hazard from the fumes, vapors, and toxic gases could spread for many miles, inciting harm to an even further radius. The proximity of this location puts our entire community at risk. Due to the single-lane nature of Wheeler Road and Rabrow Drive on the side adjacent to this proposed facility having no form of egress, there would be no way to safely evacuate the area. This would make it extremely difficult and dangerous for first responders to arrive at the location as well. Also, the Long Island Expressway is an artery for Long Island, approximately a half a mile from the proposed site. The impact from any fire or explosion would shut down the LIE indefinitely, breaking the connection for commercial truckers to get essential and industrial supplies where they need to go. There are additional waste disposal, cybersecurity, operational, and physical failure risks associated with these facilities. At the last meeting, few who spoke out in favor of this facility did not reside in Hauppauge or in the town of Islip. My hope is that you will listen to us, the residents, the Hauppauge School Board, and the Hauppauge Fire Department, as we will be directly impacted by this, not those with an alternate agenda. Thank you for your time.
Marcus Habib. Brian Michaels on deck.
Good evening. I'm Marcus Habib. I live at Rollingwood Court. We are about 200 yards from the proposed site of this facility. Now, myself and my neighbors are not happy about an idea like this. There are about 25 deaths so far because of lithium in this country. I'm not saying that there's going to be a fire tomorrow morning. The question is not if, it's when. They tried that in India, in Bhopal, the Union Carbide. 10 years after, there was a fire. 500,000 people got killed. Now, I'm not saying new technology is not good. New technologies are great. But we, Hauppauge and the town of Islip, should not be the guinea pig for such technology. I think they can try it in a desert or somewhere else where, but the idea of putting such a thing close proximity of schools, highways. We have one highway in Long Island Express, and under normal circumstances on any given day, it's so difficult to traverse on that highway from Riverhead to Queens. Imagine if an accident happened. What happens to the people there? We can't get out. And beyond that, as I said, technologies have tried before. Accidents happen. It doesn't mean that it will happen tomorrow morning, but it will happen. And the question is when, as one of the other speakers said. And you don't want this to happen like Bhopal, India, where 500,000 people get killed because of something that we don't know about. Just regular EV batteries, it takes 2 weeks before they can out the fire on these cars. Is that what we're looking for? Is that kind of technology we're looking in our neighborhood? We have children, we have schools, we have so many things going on in Long Island, beautiful place. Why do we want to get it destroyed? Because some business people give politicians and the Democratic in Albany money? Is that what you want? I don't think so. I think everybody here should be against this. Thank you very much.
Brian Michaels. Scott Monroe on deck.
Good evening, Supervisor Carpenter and the members of the Town Council. My name is Brian Michaels, and I'm a member of the Hauppauge School Board of Education. I'm here as a local resident, Little League coach, and most importantly, a father of 2 children that attend a school not too far away from the proposed BEST site on Railroad Drive. To follow up on that man just said, everybody here is against this. It's just the only people that have gotten to speak in favor of it are industry people who are paid to be here. So far, the residents are 100% against it. Let's be clear, a lithium battery storage facility does not belong near our neighborhoods or schools. When lithium batteries catch fire, they don't just burn, they explode. They release toxic fumes, and they're impossible to extinguish. And this would occur within walking distance, 1 mile from one of our elementary schools, Bretton Woods Elementary School. What would a toxic fire of that magnitude look like on a school day? Just imagine children playing on a playground inhaling hydrogen fluoride, hydrogen cyanide, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, dioxins, and furans. All of them are harmful, and all of them are cancer-causing. We have a community that lives under the shadow of 9/11, and the cancers that followed our first responders from that day, years later, they were told the air was safe to breathe. Now we're going to introduce toxic chemicals to our local volunteer firefighters and our children to breathe, in addition to heavy metals and metallic compounds to pollute our soil and water. So let's come back to our children playing on the playground, right? How long would it take for that air to blow in their direction 1 mile away, right? How quickly would our children on the playground be able to smell those toxic fire fumes just 1 mile away? Would the buses get there to evacuate in time, or would the chemicals get there first? How long to get the buses up and running? Would it be 1 hour, 2 hours? And I think the better question is, would the buses be able to get there at all? Imagine our main artery roads closed down, as others made the point. As the roads are closed, is unsafe to the massive toxic fire burning out of control. I implore the board to consider the recent lithium fires occurring all over the country and the world. Somebody spoke from one of the groups and said that things have gotten safer. The technology has evolved. It's safer now. The failure rate has dropped. Well, let's look at what's happening just in the last 2 years just in our country, right? January 2025, Moss Landing, Monterey, California, a massive fire. So that was just January this year. A massive fire resulted in a 6-day fire, toxic emissions, heavy metal contamination, highway closures. 1,500 residents were forced to flee their homes. Gateway Energy Storage near San Diego, California, May of 2024, just a year ago. A lithium fire lasted for 2 weeks, resulted in not just millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of cleanup. The root cause for that fire still is unknown or has not been released to the public. Nobody knows. So we can't say the technology has evolved to prevent that. There's been 3 separate fires just in New York. Somebody brought that up before, in Jefferson County, Orange, and here in Long Island, and it's been one after another. If you look, you'll find fires all over the place. If these facilities are needed to be built, they need to be put far away from people's homes.
Scott
Thank
Monroe, followed by... Scott Monroe, followed by Louis Sarah. I see you brought your fan club.
Scott Monroe, MUNRO. Good evening, members of the board. I'm Scott Monroe, Commissioner at the Hauppauge Fire District, and a proud 5th-generation resident of Hauppauge. The safety and well-being of our residents is our top priority. Tonight, we are here to express strong opposition to the proposed 79-megawatt lithium-ion battery storage facility. I'd like to highlight 2 critical concerns. First, location. Research shows that distance and time are crucial in lithium battery fires, requiring area security and prolonged fire management. This makes location paramount, considering the toxic emissions and water runoff that would impact on our surrounding residents. We've seen devastation effects of BEST fires in New York State, including one on Long Island in East Hampton, with alarming aftermaths, contaminated drinking water, soil contamination, and a 1-mile evacuation zone. Notably, the East Hampton facility was only 5 megawatts, whereas this proposed facility is 79 megawatts. I'd like to discuss what's within 1-mile radius of the proposed location. Residential areas with young families. Bretton Woods Elementary School, educating over 500 students, grades K through 5, not including the pre-K program with children as young as age 4. The second largest industrial park in the nation, with over 1,300 businesses and 55,000 employees during the daytime hours. Secondly, I want to discuss resources and emergency response. These battery fires can burn for up to days, even weeks, requiring extensive resources and personnel. Our 130-member volunteer fire department would face significant challenges in managing an event, including evacuating thousands of residents, students, and potential employees, managing prolonged firefighting efforts, and having to divert resources from other emergency responses. Moreover, relying on mutual aids from surrounding fire departments has the potential to compromise response times and effectiveness with seconds to count. This raises serious concerns about our ability to respond to the needs of our residents while managing a catastrophic event such as a battery fire. As a representative of the Hauppauge residents, I urge you to prioritize the community's safety, conduct your own research, and consider these risks. Recently, we hosted EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin at a press conference, and his message aligned with ours. Local issues deserve local solutions. The Hauppauge Fire District, as well as the school district, stand united in opposition, sharing valid concerns. I sincerely hope you take our concerns seriously and, above everything, prioritize the well-being of our town residents. Keeping all this in mind, I ask that you extend the moratorium and consider enacting zoning regulations to ban these facilities like this near our residents and schools.
Louis Sarah, followed by Joe Stallone.
Louis Zara, Z-A-R-A. Good evening, members of the Town Board, Supervisor Carpenter. My name is Louis Zara. I serve as a commissioner with the Hauppauge Fire District. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Fire District and the Hauppauge community to respectfully urge the extension of the moratorium on a lithium-ion battery energy storage facility proposed for 220 Rabbauer Drive. Our primary concern is the safety of our residents, our children, our first responders, and the environmental impact on the community. The proposed site is dangerously close to the Bretton Woods Elementary School, St. Thomas More Church, HYO athletic fields, headwaters to the Nesquequog River, and a critical juncture of the Long Island Expressway and Route 111. This is not just a zoning issue, or as said earlier, not in my backyard, it's a public safety issue. Lithium-ion battery fires are dangerous, they're unpredictable. Fires at BESS facilities have lasted days, they release toxins into the air and require extensive environmental cleanups. Despite recent updates in the New York State Fire Code, new EPA guidelines, and current NFPA standards, there are still no reliable methods to extinguish lithium-ion battery fires except letting them burn itself out, while firefighters protect exposures, control runoff, and evacuate the area. 220 Rabbauer Drive is not a suitable location for this facility. These systems do not belong near residential neighborhoods, schools, houses of worship, or environmentally sensitive lands. Consider the recent events that you heard time and time. January 2025, Moss Landing, California. May 2024, San Diego Gateway Fire. May 2023, East Hampton, New York. June 2023, Warwick, New York. July 2023, Lyme, New York. All facilities that occurred in the past few years at lithium-ion BESS locations. They're not isolated events, they're warnings to us. The Hauppauge Volunteer Fire Department is responsible for the protection of life and property in the Hauppauge community, including the Hauppauge Industrial Park. They are highly trained and deeply committed first responders. The additional responsibility of training for and managing a lithium-ion battery fire, especially when the risks are so high and the mitigation strategies are limited, should not be tasked upon the members of the Hauppauge Fire Department nor the surrounding volunteer fire agencies and first responders. So tonight we ask the town board to stand with our community, stand with our first responders, and again, extend the moratorium and say no to BESS at 220 Rabbauer Drive. Vote to protect the Hauppauge community and its neighboring
communities tonight.
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks, Lou. Joe Stallone. Jordan Christensen is on deck.
Joseph Stallone, S-T-A-L-L-O-N-E. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Joseph Stallone. I'm here on behalf of the New York League of Conservation Voters. I'm here to speak in opposition to an extension of the moratorium on battery energy storage. Our position is that these facilities are an essential part of the clean energy transition and will help our region meet its growing energy demands. Our organization is determined to see New York move away from a fossil fuel economy, and that means promoting the transition to a cleaner and more sustainable forms of energy. With the urgent threat of climate change, as well as the region's increasing energy demands, it's crucial to build energy infrastructure that is both resilient and reliable for our communities. NYLCV believes that battery energy storage is a practical solution for storing and using intermittent energy sources. Battery energy storage systems will make Long Island's energy systems more resilient and help stabilize the power grid during extreme weather, while ensuring energy could be utilized when it's needed most. These systems will help serve the community during excessive heat days, assist in replacing dirty peaker plants, and support the addition of clean energy into our grid. We recognize that there are concerns regarding the safety and location of these facilities. But we also know that between 2017 and 2022, U.S. energy storage deployments increased by more than 18 times, and during this time, codes and standards regulating energy storage systems have rapidly evolved to better address safety concerns. In fact, the state's Fire Prevention and Building Code Council recently released new regulations that implement some of the strictest fire safety codes in the nation. This, coupled with the industry's commitment to proper safety precautions, Islip can rest assured knowing that these facilities can be built safely and operated safely, especially since neighboring towns such as Brookhaven have adopted regulations and have been able to build these facilities to support their energy infrastructure. We are committed to serving the people of Long Island and see the implementation of these systems as an integral step in creating a cleaner, safer, and more resilient energy future for Islip. We ask that you do not extend this moratorium, and that if you are to put one in place, that it is as short as possible, since the state fire codes will be in effect by this January. Thank you for the opportunity to comment today.
Jordan Christensen, thank you. Jordan Christensen and Edward Sandin, please be ready to come up next.
Hi, thanks. Jordan Christensen. I'm with Citizens Campaign for the Environment. We're a 120,000 member nonprofit working to protect public health and the environment throughout New York. We have been committed to transitioning off of fossil fuels and towards renewable energy to combat climate change. And we believe that BESS is a critical part of our energy mix moving forward. We understand why the town put the initial moratorium on. We, in fact, supported the initial moratoriums with the understanding that it would be to update the zoning codes, do research, figure out how to properly site these facilities in communities. However, now we've seen several extensions, and what we don't want to see is a continued stall of this critical technology. We've become a leader in offshore wind. We're becoming a leader in solar. We're moving forward with a lot of renewable energy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, so we've become a leader in offshore wind, we're becoming a leader in solar, but we also need battery storage as a component of our transition away from fossil fuels. You know, our peaker plants have been in our communities for decades, harming public health, damaging our air quality, and we've had enough at this point. With BESS, we have no emissions, we can have cleaner air, healthier communities, and increased reliability. So, you know, this summer we saw the brownouts happening during the heat wave, not just in New York, but around the nation. We saw in some states like Texas that have BESS actually increase grid resiliency during their heat waves. We're going to see a 50 to 90% increase in our energy demand here in New York over, you know, the next 20 years. We are going to see more hotter summers. We are going to see more extreme weather events. We need the technology to meet that demand, and it's either going to be renewables or it's going to be fossil fuels. So we would ask that you don't move forward with a 12-month extension on the BESS moratorium, and instead work to move forward to create the proper codes so that we can have well-sited, environmentally responsible projects move forward. Thank you.
Edward. Next up is Kelly Scott.
My name is Edward Sanders, E-D-W-A-R-D, S-A-N-D-E-R-S. I've been a resident of Hauppauge, the third generation. I've been here 57 years. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Hauppauge has gotten very overdeveloped. A lot of it is not good. I can't live with a 98% rate. The other 2% is what's going to kill us. Besides all the other very important things that everyone here in this room has said about all the features and the things in the schools and the daycare centers and the churches, we're missing another very, very big point, which I brought up at the last meeting. The Northville pipeline runs along 22 miles of the Long Island Expressway from Oyster Bay down the North Service Road, backing up residential neighborhoods, the gas stations, the fuel depot that's on 111 and Kings, and all these other buildings. And then it goes all the way out to Route 112 and goes up into Belmead, where they had the infamous Northville spill. In that pipeline, they push oil, propane, gasoline, and other things through there. If this fire goes off and explodes, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, it's going to happen. Look at all the smoke we had here in our community over the last couple of years from the fires in Canada. We can't, the fire department brought up great points, we can't evacuate our people, because if a disaster happens at that building and we are able to get the buses there to get the children and the people out, where are they going to do? Take them to the neighborhoods in which they live? No, we can't do this. This is insane. This location, I'm for technology as well. However, this is a ridiculous location to put this building. There's just no safety factor. Not to mention, it's going to destroy the values of people's homes. People buy homes so they can live there, someday retire and sell their home. You know what's going to happen to the price of homes in our community? It's going to be garbage. This is not a safe thing to happen. Our fire department can't put out a Tesla when it goes on fire. People have died in our community from bicycles that go on fire inside of someone's garage or in an apartment building. This is something that we just can't let happen here. And another thing which I've brought up in the past, anyone who does not live in our community should not be allowed to talk at these functions. We don't need people getting paid, promoting their own business and their own self-interests on our backs. We all live here. We moved here for a reason, to be safe. And when this fire does explode, the people that we lost in 9/11 is going to be minuscule to what's going to happen here. Thank you.
Kelly Scott. Billy Roberti on deck.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Scott. I spoke to you last month. SCOTT. I thank you for the opportunity to speak. I stand here on behalf of concerned residents of Hauppauge who are united in opposition to this proposed BESS facility in our community. While we understand the need for renewable energy solutions, we cannot accept this project in its current form or in its location. It places our families, our children, our neighborhoods at unnecessary risks. These battery energy storage facilities are not without hazard. They come with fire hazards, toxic emissions, and explosions that have been documented at other sites across our country. Placing such a facility near our homes, our schools, our businesses is simply unacceptable. You're not just affecting the safety of our children, but 55,000 people that work in our industrial park, and safety must come before profits in our neighborhood. Our governor has chosen this very brazen policy to move forward with this green energy idea with no regard for the communities who will be forced to shoulder the danger. It shows a shocking lack of common sense. Instead of strengthening infrastructure in ways that protect people, this approach creates this, what I can only call the big green machine, a system designed to claim progress while jeopardizing the lives of our fire department, our volunteers who do not have to do what they do. This is not leadership. This is not responsible governance. This is not just my voice. It is the collective voice of our community. I started a petition on change.org, which I sent to some of you. Not all of you were on there, but our community opposes this. I have and would like to be entered into the public record a petition of 537 signatures on our petition that just was started a week ago that opposes this in our community. Every single signature represents a family who wants to feel safe in their home, a parent who wants their children to be able to go to school without this danger, and taxpayers that expect each and every one of you to prioritize public welfare in our community over corporate convenience and greed. The message is clear. Hauppauge does not want this facility. Our community is engaged. We are paying attention to what you guys do here, and we will not have our health, our safety compromised for the sake of political optics. I urge you as leaders and decision makers to hear us and act in our best interest. Keep government local. We are not a community who prides ourselves in progress over people. We cannot sacrifice the community safety for this corporate convenience and greed.
Thank you. Billy Roberti, Greg Pepe on deck. Billy Roberti? All right, Greg, you're up. Next is going to be Brian Fink.
Greg Pepe, Islip resident. I'm here. Greg Pepe, Islip resident. I'm not here as a NIMBY that just comes up to the podium and then walks out the back door. I want to put forward this, that in 2023, New York State is developing two projects, major projects. One's called the Champlain Hudson Power Express. This is going to deliver 1,250 megawatts of hydropower downstate, so it will be distributed on our grid, okay? There is no need for these batteries. These batteries are pretty much dinosaurs in the technology that's moving ahead. National Grid Ventures is to install the world's first 100% hydrogen-fueled linear generator right here in Northport. That's going to produce more power, actually, than if we go to hydrogen at Northport and Port Jeff. That'll be more than enough to sustain what we need. We do not need these batteries because of the hydroelectric that's coming down to us, okay? And there's another project, the Clean Path New York, which will be completed in 2027, and it's going to bring more hydroelectric to Long Island. So these batteries, not only are they toxic, but when they burn, they reminisce a magnesium fire. They do not need oxygen to support combustion, okay? So for these environmentalists that think that the Teslas and all these electric cars are safe, put a Tesla in a field, ignite that, put a fossil fuel vehicle, whether it be diesel or gasoline, set that one alight. Get foam, okay, and put foam on both of those. See which one you will extinguish and one will keep burning. Okay? Because, like I said, lithium ion, there is no way of extinguishing that fire. You can contain it and pour tons of water. You can put whatever you want on that, but it's not going out, okay? Take it from me. I worked at the airport over at JFK, so I know what being curtailed. I heard a mother speak last month at the meeting that worked as a stewardess. They also get trained highly on these fires because aircraft, the components, the landing gear, especially the wheels, are magnesium. So is the jet engine cases, the accessory case. That's magnesium. They will continue to burn even when you're applying foam on top. Okay. Now, another point I like to bring out, the fire that happened in East Hampton, another KCE project, the monitoring for that was down in Florida. It wasn't stationed here. They had their monitoring down in Florida. Look it up. These are all facts, okay? So what I'm trying to say is this. If we're going ahead with these batteries and putting them on farmlands like they want to do out east on the Oregon Road, they want to take 26 acres and put these batteries up there, and if God forbid they go up, we're going to pollute the crops that are there, okay? So this should be stopped, not even banned, just ban it, period. Thank you.
Brian Fink. Luca Yu is on deck.
Good evening. My name is Brian Fink. I'm a retired battalion chief from New York City. And since my retirement roughly 3 years ago, I've been going around the country training firefighters on responding to these type of facilities. And I know what you're going through. Every community I go to, they all have the same concerns as Hauppauge does. I think if you decide to allow batteries into your community, there's some major questions you should be asking about these projects. One being, is it an indoor facility or an outdoor facility? Because the larger, longer duration fires that have occurred around the country and around the world have been indoor facilities. The reason for that is because they put open racks of batteries inside of structures. They have to protect those structures with sprinkler systems. When those sprinkler systems activate because of a thermal runaway event, it spreads the fire. It doesn't stop the fire. It shorts out more and more racks of batteries, and it ends up involving the whole structure. Moss Landing, Gateway, East Hampton, all indoor facilities. Outdoor storage is different in that it's individual containers on a lot. I would follow the New York State code. The new code is one of the most stringent in the country. It will address distances between containers, setback distances, as does the new EPA guidance on these facilities as well. In an outdoor facility, you have a limited amount of batteries in each container. That's why those events, when they occur in outdoor storage, is one container of batteries rather than thousands of racks of batteries inside of an indoor facility. The EPA guidance on isolation distances from a battery fire at one of these facilities is 330 feet. I know they talk about setback distances. Right now, NFPA 855, which regulates battery storage, the setback distance is 10 feet. To make it a remote site, it's 100 feet. EPA recommends 330 feet for their isolation zone. I think that's a good distance to use as your starting point if you're going to allow energy storage in your community. I'll be around after the meeting if anybody would like to ask additional questions about any of this. And I hope you continue to research and make good decisions based on science. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Luna Yu. And next on deck is Joseph Iannucci.
My name is Billy Roberti. That's like Robert with an I at the end. I live in Huntington, and I'm a renewable energy consultant. Thank you for allowing me to speak today in favor of ending the moratorium. I have looked deeply and impartially into the battery storage issue because safety is my first priority. I am very far from rich, but I want clean air and clean water. We need to stop burning fuel. As a result, my husband and I have done what we can ourselves since we plan to age in our house. We invested in renewables, switching from heating oil to a geothermal heat pump and adding rooftop solar. When I can't dry my laundry or my clothesline, I use our heat pump dryer. Doing all of this is how I got into this line of business. 15 years later, our annual utility bills have risen to the same level they were in 2009. I understand some are afraid of new technology. It rarely starts off problem-free, but it ends up that way, and then people take it for granted. Battery energy storage systems, BESS, designers and installers have learned from past mistakes like Moss Landing. New York State recently updated its fire codes requiring independent engineering review, continuous 24/7 monitoring by video, and an emergency response plan developed with local fire departments. The new designs don't house the batteries in buildings as they were in the past. They are factory installed in cabinets that look like oversized school lockers in shipping containers that are trucked in one piece to the site. These containers are stored outside in rows. They are safe. Again, compartmentalization limits fires. There is a small, very vocal minority of Long Islanders who are fearful of BESS based on old designs. There is a silent majority who do not come to hearings, do not sign petitions, and just want affordable and reliable energy. For that, we need BESS. BESS is needed to make the best use of solar and wind, but energy storage is not exclusively for renewables. Caithness, the gas-fired power plant in Yaphank, is planning to install one. Why? Because it improves grid resiliency and makes electricity cheaper during peak demand than it would be without it. PSEG's new time of day rates charge twice as much for electricity used during peak as the rest of the day. Everyone needs this. I wish Huntington would end its knee-jerk moratorium, but no company has shown interest in putting BESS there. There are benefits for Islip, economic growth, tax revenues for schools, and an increase in town revenue by $3 million over this one project's lifetime. Show the way, Islip, and reap the benefits like Brookhaven does. You have the opportunity to show leadership
Thank
by
you.
ending your moratorium.
Really, you,
Welcome,
you're
BESS.
next. Joseph Iannucci, please be ready. You're next. You're no, go ahead. I'm just wanting him to be ready so we can keep moving since we have a lot more cards to get through.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor and members of the Town Board. Lucia Yu, L-U-C-I-A, L-U-C-I-A-Y-U. Lucia, L-U-C-I-A-Y-U. My name is Lucia Yu, and I'm a project developer at Key Capture Energy. I've had the opportunity to speak with you before, and I'm grateful to be here again, not only to advocate for our project, but to speak to the future of Long Island's electric grid and the important role battery energy storage will play in keeping the lights on. I'd first like to highlight the tangible benefits that this project will bring to the Islip community. KCE New York 29 will generate over $3.5 million in revenue for the town throughout its lifetime. A portion of this funding will directly support the Hauppauge School District and the Hauppauge Fire Department, which are two vital institutions that serve our neighbors every day. The project site is located at 220 Railroad Drive within the Hauppauge Industrial Park and is more than 2 football fields away from its nearest residential neighbor. This is 7 times greater than the safe distance recommended by the National Fire Protection Association. Furthermore, the project fully complies with siting and permitting guidance for BESS facilities recently issued by the EPA under the Trump administration. As members of the Hauppauge Industrial Association and a tax-paying entity within the town of Islip, KCE is committed to being responsible stewards of this community. Beyond providing economic benefits for the town, this project will help keep electric bills from rising. Long Islanders pay 3 times what other regions in New York pay to maintain peaking power plants. As an island, Long Island faces unique challenges in its electrical infrastructure, and these challenges are intensified by rising energy demand. LIPA has plans to modernize and strengthen the grid, and BESS is critical to achieving that. Without it, we risk experiencing even higher electricity rates and increased risk of blackouts that will impact everything from hospitals to schools to businesses and homes. BESS will help keep the lights on when the grid needs it the most. More than 900 BESS have been deployed nationwide, with the overwhelming majority operating safely and reliably. In fact, the incident rate for BESS is lower than that of commercial air travel. The East Hampton fire was not a KCE project, and we are proud to say that we have never had a safety incident at any of our operating projects. In states where BESS has been deployed at scale, like Texas, BESS has prevented price spikes and blackouts by delivering energy during hours of peak evening demand. This has saved customers $750 million. This year, the nation's reliability watchdog reported that the risk of a summer grid emergency in Texas dropped from 15% to 2% in 1 year and pointed to new BESS as the sole reason. Respectfully, we think the town should lift the moratorium and begin processing BESS applications. We look forward to engaging in a constructive and transparent dialogue with the Hauppauge Fire Department to ensure that all concerns are thoroughly addressed and that community safety remains the top priority.
Thank you.
for the time.
Joseph Iannucci, followed by John Murray. Sure.
Joseph Iannucci, Hauppauge, New York. Excuse the voice, the weather's not doing me fine here to change the season. I'm just going to hit some points because a lot of the points were covered already, but I'll go through this here. Someone mentioned that during Sandy, we lost a lot of power on Long Island. Most people lost power. That if we had these battery storage facilities, we would have had the power back on sooner. Just to remind somebody, it was the wires and the poles that went down, not the power source. So the batteries going online had nothing to do with that. Okay, and then we do have a lot of paid people here speaking tonight. Most of the people here are taxpayers to the town of Islip, just to remind you. All right, these facilities do not belong in a high-density area, and Long Island is a high-density area. Bottom line there. The other issues no one is bringing up at all is these batteries have a life, just like the batteries in the cars. And no one knows what to do with the old batteries. Another problem down the road, a future asbestos nightmare down the road. Okay? Now, the site is adjacent to the substation, which is immediately adjacent to the high tower lines. So if you have a fire here, you have the potential to lose the substation and the high-tension towers that supply power across going east on Long Island. I left the map up here, a blow-up of the site. I highlighted where the location is. I drew a circle, and I do have handouts, so I'm going to give to everyone for the record. I drew a circle at approximately 1 mile. Some items were mentioned, but I'm going to read down this list real quick. Besides thousands of residents and thousands of commercial properties, you have the headwaters of the Nisququot River, the HYO sports field, the substation I just mentioned, the DOT yard, which is near PC Richards, the New York Inform headquarters, which is on Rabbrow Drive on the other side, the LIE would get shut down, 111 would get shut down, the Hauppauge Elementary School, Bretton Woods, the New York State Office Building would get shut down, the H. Lee Dennison Building would get shut down, the county headquarters, the county executive office building would be shut down because it's within that 1 mile area. The Hauppauge High School, Route 347, Route 454 would get shut down. And just outside of that 1 mile, you have the North Complex, which has the 4th Precinct, the Medical Examiner's Office, and other offices. Then you got the Hauppauge High School to the north, and you got the Central Islip High School to the south. That's an unbelievable list of facilities that would get shut down.
Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate it. John Murphy, followed by Conrad Schackenberg.
Don Murphy, M-U-R-P-H-Y. Donald. Don, D-O-N. Yep. So I'm Don Murphy. I have the real pleasure of being the superintendent of Hauppauge School District. You heard from Brian Michaels earlier. He's a Hauppauge Board of Ed member, and I think he captured the spirit of this issue so eloquently. Yet I think it's important for me to be on the record with respect for all those who have talked already. First, some context. At our August 19th Board of Education meeting, there was a unanimous resolution opposing this facility due to its proximity to Bretton Woods Elementary School. Just some statistics there. That's north of 500 students, 60 faculty, staff members, and of course the neighborhood there. Now, my duty and my primary responsibility is to ensure the health and safety and well-being of children, staff, and I'd add the community. We're fortunate, very fortunate. We have some exceptional leaders and expertise next door, the Hauppauge Fire Department. They have led the charge here, and they've illuminated the risks and raised great questions about these risks, from fire hazards to emergency response concerns. Let's listen to them. After all, what would be their motivation to raise these alarm bells? To be clear, for us, the district, even one question is enough for the district. It's black and white for us. One question about safety means we are against it. So my closing ask is to keep the safety of our kids, our staff, our families, our first responders at the center of your deliberations. Hauppauge is a very, very close community and school district. Our arms are locked together around this matter, and so please extend the moratorium. Thank you.
Conrad Maheen Syed is next.
Hello, everybody. My name is Conrad Schnackenberg. I'm a lifetime Suffolk resident and a science educator. What I really want to talk to you tonight, and the issue I really want to lay down, is that climate change is coming. We have enormous environmental impact with fossil fuels, and in order to move into the future, we do have to come up with an alternative to using this older, dirty technology. I do understand a lot of people tonight have brought up concerns, and I have heard them. But the main issue is that we have a grid that is overwhelmed. We have the ability to collect solar power and wind power, but we don't have the ability to store it appropriately. Safety, of course, is the number one concern. But what I'm calling for this board to do is not just keep moving this forward 12 months, 12 months, 12 months. Is there a possibility that is there a possibility that environmental engineers, that people who are developing this technology can work with this board and find a solution to this problem? Instead of just A or B, is there a way of coming up with a way of meeting the needs of the community, meeting the safety concerns, and still moving an effective, efficient, and safe technology forward? It looks like what we're doing here is we keep delaying the decision 12 months, and then another 12 months, and another 12 months. Could it be possible to bring these companies together with this board to work out the problems, to work out these difficulties, to find a safe solution that meets everybody's needs? And it appears to me that this dialogue is not currently being engaged. And I would just encourage the board to have a shorter moratorium. The New York State regulations have come in place. The technology is different now. How different is it? How safer is it? Can we have this conversation? Let's do a shorter moratorium of, say, 3 months, and in that time, aggressively debate this, discuss this, and see if a solution can be found. Thank you.
Thank you. Maheen Syed, followed by Tara Vasquez.
Hello, my name is Maheen. Maheen? Hi, my name is Maheen. I'm the Communications Associate with All Our Energy. We're a Long Island environmental nonprofit. I want to start with the fact that it is expensive to live on Long Island. And on top of inflation, we have some of the highest rates in the country. 1.2 million customers pay over $470 million to keep fossil fuel peaker plants alive. For each customer, that averages out to about $391 per year. This is exactly why the town of Islip would be remiss to forego the opportunity to make Long Island more affordable for their own Islip residents who are struggling to meet their own bills. Not to mention that with more heat waves and extreme weather, we need resilient, cheap electricity now more than ever. Battery energy storage systems charge up when energy is cheap, and then use that cheap energy during peak hours. It also supports wind and solar energy systems, which are some of the cheapest ways to produce energy for our electric grid. BESS is also safe. The February 2024 report from Clean Energy Associates found that there were no deaths among the 40 known battery storage fires worldwide. And the most incidents, if any, would be prevented by newer tech advancements and better testing. Of the 40 known battery storage fires worldwide, wait, what? Which sentence? Wait, sorry. The February 2024 report from the Clean Energy Associates, so CEA, found that there were no deaths among the 40 known battery storage fires worldwide, and that most incidents, if any, would be prevented by newer technological advancements and better testing. Compare that to the number of deaths, so 0, to the 122 people who were killed in 2,600 gas pipeline explosions from 2010 to 2021. And that's only counting the explosions that were reported to the federal government. According to a 2022 report from CalPERG and Frontier Group, that was what they found. Yet there's no more, there are no moratoriums for these gas pipelines, which have nearly 18,000 leaks that occur over the course of a year that can cause explosions and distribution fires such as that. So, right, what we do need is local clean energy to meet peak demand times and lower bills. Even more than that, we need leaders that will make decisions that are best for their residents and not for fossil fuel companies. Thank you.
Tara Vasquez and Kyle Rabin on deck.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak. I've been a resident of the town of Islip for over 25 years. And Ms. Carpenter, I voted for you in every election. Your opening comments as a resident was very upsetting because it was very dismissive to the community members that are against this. I'm not here to ask you to extend the moratorium. I'm here to ask you to ban it. Do something other than extending it because you guys are elected officials. So everybody here that's gaslighting our community into, oh, energy costs will be lowered, oh, it's for the grid because it's overloaded. It's not our responsibility to allow these into our neighborhoods to lower costs for everybody else, especially when our children are at risk. My children go to Bretton Woods Elementary School, which is a mile away from this facility. The state sold this land knowing what was gonna go there. So they knew exactly what was gonna be there, and they sold it anyway. So they don't care about us. So it's your job as our local officials to step in to prevent this. It's not fair to leave our community in limbo. It's not. We wouldn't be here tonight if you guys took the last 3 extensions, or 2 extensions, 18 months, to ban this. There's many different ways that you could do this at a local level, okay? And nothing has been done. So we don't wanna be here to have to fight against this, okay? But I'm gonna tell you right now, this community will never allow this here. Okay, I know you remember, Ms. Carpenter, last year when they tried to put a warehouse in our community right by our kids' schools. And we all came out as a community against it. And you did not allow the zoning change to allow that warehouse. That's a warehouse. This is an explosion. It's waiting to happen. There is nothing anybody can say that will get the community on board. There is no amount of money, okay? We don't need more money in our school district. We have enough, okay? And Hauppauge has thousands and thousands of people that would need to be evacuated. What about parents trying to get to their children? I work in New York City. I had to leave work at 2 o'clock today to be here. 2 o'clock. I have 3 children, okay? I should not have to come here to ask this. You guys have had 18 months. I know there's a lot of money at stake here, but lives are worth a lot more than money, okay? At the end of the day, it's community first, not developers first. And that will always be the motto for this community. So I ask you, please, extend it, but this time, do something. Do something to ban these so we don't have to worry about it. Because me as a mother, I would like to go to sleep at night not having to worry about an explosion happening at my child, right next to my child's elementary school, okay? It's common sense. So the fact that nothing is being done about it except just extending it, kicking the can down the road, means there's something bigger at play here. So I urge you, please, do something and ban this facility.
Kyle Rabin. Kyle Rabin. And Joan Matthews on deck.
Good evening, Town Supervisor and members of the Town Board. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this evening. My name is Kyle Rabin. I'm a policy analyst with the Alliance for Clean Energy New York. We represent a range of clean energy industry companies as well as environmental organizations and environmental justice organizations. As you know, New York State's new safety codes adopted in July provide clear, credible, and comprehensive standards for energy storage system development and operations. Energy storage systems are increasingly vital to keeping the lights on and strengthening New York State's electric grid. Storage technologies are critical to providing the electricity that keep our home appliances running, our homes air conditioned and heated, and our businesses operating. Energy storage supports grid reliability and resiliency. Moratoriums threaten to undermine both these aspects across the state, but especially on Long Island. And I know you have a very important decision to make before you. And I just want to make clear that this decision has implications for communities all across Long Island and across New York State. And I think it's critical that you think about the environmental implications, the public health aspects, all the benefits tied to energy storage. New York's electric grid is at a turning point right now. As demand surges, the New York Independent System Operator predicts an energy reliability shortfall by 2033, especially during extreme heat and other weather disruptions. We need more energy, and we can't afford to waste the power we're already producing. To be clear, energy storage benefits all operational generation assets and makes our existing infrastructure more efficient. These systems allow us to use more of the electricity produced here, closer to where it's needed. This allows New York to be more efficient about using electricity generated from all resources, and particularly helps to maximize the value of low-cost energy generated from renewables. Energy storage systems are already helping New York make the most of its own energy resources by easing transmission bottlenecks downstate and providing fast-responding backup power to high-demand cities and towns. By capturing and dispatching locally produced electricity, energy storage makes New York's grid more flexible, efficient, and responsive to real-time needs. As you would expect, my organization urges you to lift this moratorium for the sake of integrating this technology into our electric grid on Long Island and helping out New Yorkers across Long Island and throughout New York State. Thank you for this
sir.
opportunity.
Derek Stein. Actually, I'm sorry, Joan Matthews. Derek is on deck. No, you're.
Hi, good evening. My name is Joan, J-O-N, Matthews, M-A-T-T-H-E-W-S. Sorry to report that I'm not from this township. However, I'm here to let you know what's going on, just a lot of factoids. We're dealing with a 275 megawatt lithium-ion battery in Glenwood Landing, which is not far from here. So basically, I'm speaking on behalf of Long Island residents. First and foremost, I think Long Islanders really need to rally together, especially volunteer firemen, because you guys don't get paid to fight the best. I think we all need to get the word out for this, whether it's any news outlets coming here tonight, protests, et cetera, peaceful, of course.
But basically, we're Long Island residents. We're not lobbyists that are paid, best companies that are here for profits, and no disrespect to unions, but you're here for the jobs. Fire safety representatives that are paid also as consultants that were asked to leave Piqua, Ohio for burning batteries without letting the residents know, and they got sick. The batteries are sorry. I have to cross out stuff that people said, sorry. So audit failures, over 25% for management systems, 18% for thermal monitoring systems. So that's a pretty big percentage I don't want to take a chance on. Why does Long Island have to endure the risks and the limited benefits? How much power, if you really think about it, the 4-hour battery storage is going to be left by the time they've used the AI, the cooling systems, because of what they need for that, as well as security. The one that they were going to put in Glenwood Landing was not going to be manned, but manned from Texas, and they would come and help us in 4 hours. They were not going to be manned, and they were going to come and help us in 4 hours. By then, it's too late. Senator Matera said that this is just an experiment. We really shouldn't be doing this. Taxpayers' rates will increase 3 to 4 times or more as Hochul signed 155 kilowatt hour rate for wind only, plus the battery storage, plus the cable cost on top of that. We're currently $36 per kilowatt hour. The PSC voted a 6% household income rate of electricity. That's everyone's house. No matter how much you make, you're going to be paying. Moss Landing, California is still finding contaminants and people are still getting sick. They had an 8-mile evacuation circle, but toxins spread way further than that, up to 50 miles away. Many of the residents did not get notified. There also were only 1,500 people that were documented in that 8-mile radius. When we did our area from 8 miles from Glen was over 300,000 people, and that was a rough estimate based upon the 2023 census. Volunteer firemen, they're not supporting BESS in our area, and we hope that they all will not support it. What is long-term impact to the volunteer fire members? Is there a guarantee they will be equipped with special gear and apparatus and training and to put the profits in front of the cost for needing the training? Because our fire department didn't get trained as they said they were supposed to train them. Will they be able to get enough man hours? We only have 40 working firemen in our area. They all work. Are they going to get there? Personally, I would tell my family member, don't go, too toxic. Is there enough water available on the trucks or in the area to cool the surrounding BESS systems for the hours and days? Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Derek. Derek Stein and Carol Nichols is on deck.
Good evening, Supervisor Carpenter, members of Town Council. My name is Derek Stein, I'm a lifelong resident. Oh, Derek Stein, D-E-R-E-K. Lifelong resident of Central Islip. I live about 2 miles from this proposed site, and I'm a parent, and I am in support of lifting this moratorium. And the reason for that is because in other towns across Long Island, what we're seeing is the start of development of AI data centers. We're starting to see increased demand on the electrical grid across Long Island. And no matter what happens in the town of Islip or in other towns, we're going to have that increased demand. There's currently a proposed site in Yaphank along the LIE that is targeted for an AI data center that will use that's targeted for use of about half of the nearby Caithness power plant's total output. Those sort of projects are going to start coming online. That's targeted for 2027, when that project will come online. That gets approved by the town of Brookhaven. So what we're going to see is increased demand on the electrical grid, no matter what happens here. So we need these options, and BESS is an option. That's all it is an option for energy resiliency and an option for all of Long Island to benefit, because we will see those lower energy costs as offshore wind, as clean air, as hydrogen even. All of those come online. This is another option for us. And having those resiliencies and those levels of redundancy for our energy grid will protect us. It will protect us from storms. It will protect us from any extreme weather events, disasters. And so we need to have that as an option. And it's also going to create jobs. It's going to create and be a boon for the local economy. It's going to be a boon for good-paying jobs that are desperately needed on Long Island, especially as we weather an uncertain economic outlook heading into the next few years. So this is something we need to do just to help us make sure that we have a sustainable Long Island for the next generation to come. So thank you, and have a good night.
Carol Nichols and Lauren O'Brien is on deck. Carol Nichols, Lauren O'Brien.
Hello, my name is Lauren O'Brien, and I'm a resident of Hauppauge and one of the closest homes to the proposed site. My children who are here today go to Bretton Woods Elementary School. Of the many people speaking here today are those whose homes and families are at no risk to any mishaps these systems are capable of. They are workers calling for more work and nothing more. These developers only care about money. This isn't clean generated energy, but rather pruned off the grid at off-peak times and stored for use at peak times. It doesn't have any cleaner origin. Notice all these developers leave immediately after they speak because they've said their paid piece, done their job, and words lack any and all personal consequences. To use their own words, from 2017 to 2022, they've continuously updated safety regulations, yet we've seen dozens of fires in 2023 to 2025 alone. So what were their lessons learned aside from empty words? This is an industrial one-zone property and has been for over 25 years. Our family house has been here. And the code doesn't even allow for outdoor storage or specific types of retail facilities. It's specifically zoned for light manufacturing and distribution, not a 79 megawatt facility. This is an isolated portion of Hauppauge Industrial Park and is completely surrounded by homes. At the end of the day, safety must always come first, above convenience, above profits, above everything else. Please extend the moratorium, or better yet, don't allow it here at all. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no other cards on this. We have a motion to close the public hearing.
I just have a question, if I may. Mr. Town Attorney, hello down there. When you briefed me on Friday, I asked you if the Suffolk County Planning Commission, wow, okay. I asked you if the Suffolk County Planning Commission had heard Islip's application to extend the moratorium yet, and you indicated that they had not yet. Is that true?
No, they haven't.
And what did they decide?
They decided on a 6-month moratorium. Yeah, there you go. Their recommendation was a 6-month moratorium.
Okay, so in order for this board to impose the resolution that's before us and the legislation that's before us, which puts it as 12 months, we need a 4/5 vote. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I'd make a motion to close the, one more question, I'm sorry, Mr. Town Attorney. Sure. Do we need to issue a negative declaration?
No.
Okay, so I'd make a motion to close the public hearing and offer the, I'm sorry.
I have a question. And this is for the town attorney. Anyway, so if we adopt a moratorium for 12 months, can we later on, if the merits apply, end the moratorium sooner?
Yes, the board would just need to enact a different ordinance.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion.
I'm sorry, the court reporter needs to get what Will said. What did you say, Will, for the court reporter's benefit?
I said the board would just need to enact a new ordinance.
Okay. All that said, I'd make a motion to close the public hearing and offer the resolution for its adoption.
I will second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution is adopted. We will now go to public hearing number 3. I'd ask the town clerk to please read the hearing notice.
Item number 3,
There's a 12-month moratorium in place.
Item number 3, to consider entering into a cable franchise renewal agreement with Verizon New York Incorporated to provide cable services to town residents.
Now what's up?
Can we take this opportunity to recess?
Are you you not recording?
That's a good, damn good reason.
Are you not recording? Okay, well, go to your I don't know what to tell you. They're talking into the microphone, but you are recording everything, so if you have problem transcribing it, go to your recording. Oh my God.
We ready?
Yeah, please.
Item
Just-
number 3, to consider entering into a cable franchise renewal agreement with Verizon New York Incorporated to provide cable services to town residents.
There are no cards on this particular public hearing. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Madam Clerk, if you would please read the fourth and last hearing notice.
Item number 4, to consider entering into a cable franchise renewal agreement with Altice USA Incorporated and Samsung Cablevision Corporation, LLC, for a period of 5 years.
We do have a card that has been filled out on this hearing. Samantha Pordal Jerez. Samantha? Last call, Samantha, who is from Altice, so I assume that she was here to speak in favor of it. Okay, do we have a motion?
Yeah, motion to close the public hearing and submit this resolution for its adoption.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. All right, before we go to the public portion, we're just going to take a 2-minute recess.
Thank you.
I'll help you.
Testing.
At this time, we are going to move to the public portion. We have, again, quite a number of people who wish to address the board. Again, this is not a question and answer. We're here to listen to your comments or your compliments. And the first speaker is Douglas Ballin.
Good evening, council members. I'd like to thank you once again for your service to your community and your remarkable patience tonight. My name's Doug Ballin, and I live in Oakdale. And I want to say that Trump was right about quite a few things, but there's just one very important thing we're not sure about. He was right when he said that he can get reelected by telling people whatever they wanted to hear. And he was right when he said he'd find a way to control the media. He was right when he bet that the cowards in the Republican-controlled Senate and Congress would cave in and vote against their constituents' best interests over and over again, making cuts to the poor and middle class and giving tax cuts for America's upper class. Trump was right when he calculated that so many Americans would abandon their Christian values, their American values, and their own Constitution because they were afraid of what would happen if they spoke out, that so many would turn their backs as families get ripped apart, and that they would let their neighbors lose their rights right in front of them. I'll say it again. I don't blame anybody for being afraid. Our current president has involved himself in local governments before, even to the point of influencing who plays on what high school sports team and what the name of the team should be. If you follow your constituents' best interests and take a stand against this illegal search and seizure, this removal of basic human rights, and the fear-mongering that is our current U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, you can be pretty sure that that will gather national attention. So again, there's this very important thing where Trump may have been wrong. The jury is still out. Was he wrong about you being afraid? Are you afraid to stand up against this un-American injustice? Or are you going to back Councilman Guadron's proposal? Thanks very much.
Next speaker, William Marquardt. William Marquardt.
William Marquardt, M-A-R-Q-U-A-R-D-T. Glasses. I am here to ask you to back Councilman Guadron's proposal to terminate the harmful and divisive contract Islip Town has entered into, allowing ICE agents to engage in firearm training at our town facility. Islip Town has posted a notice on its website that offers to clarify the town's position on continuing to allow ICE agents to train at our rifle range. The notice lists numerous law enforcement agencies as also being permitted to train at our facility. They include the Nassau Police, Fire Island National Seashore, Amtrak, DMV, Suffolk Courts, New York State Park Police, and others. These law enforcement agencies are trusted and well respected. They have long been providing our communities with professional, even-handed, and judicious policing. They are a welcome asset to our town and Long Island on the whole. ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, did not in any way exhibit the professional and law-abiding demeanor that these law enforcement agencies espouse and display daily. The town does these agencies a great disservice when you lump them in with ICE. As we have been informed recently by our current president on his Truth Social website, he is planning to deploy his ICE army to wage war on the citizens of Chicago, our nation's third most populous city. The fact that President Trump feels empowered and comfortable in making this threat is a clear and frightening indication of how far this president has deviated from the norms that have been forever cherished and protected in our democracy. This reckless, hateful, and lawless behavior must be denounced by all citizens and certainly by our elected representatives. In your notice, you state that Islip Town's partnership with ICE is being politicized and will cause more distrust of our law enforcement agencies. If you truly want to depoliticize these issues, you should speak to Donald Trump. You claim that our communities that are vulnerable and already underreporting crimes will somehow benefit and feel safer because their town is assisting this agency in their merciless application of Donald Trump and Stephen Miller's hateful agenda. Our community will in no way feel safer with their town aiding ICE's firearm training. There are many local instances of ICE's terror tactics and illegal actions. ICE agents recently swept up a Brentwood mother of 5 as she reported for her scheduled immigration court hearing. She had not committed any crimes. Now one of her children, who she was the caregiver for, has had to be hospitalized due to their arising medical issues since her detainment. Please listen to your constituents who are here today and who have expressed their displeasure with this contract at the previous town board meeting and at public protest. We respectfully ask you to cease the town's collusion with this rogue agency and support Councilman Guadrone's proposal to terminate the contract.
Tamara Beagle. Tamara.
Good evening. My name is Tamara Begel, T-A-M-A-R-A-B-E-G-E-L, and I am an educational mental health and systems advocate that has Town of Islip clients. I urge you to act on the federal government's overreach, terrorizing our community. Men have been permitted to cover their faces without badges and signed warrants and are kidnapping people off the street, chaining them up and bringing them to unknown locations. The New York Times has documented how Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency has repeatedly violated constitutional precedent, law, and basic human rights. These actions have resulted in the detention of people with legal visas and citizens. This behavior, sanctioned by our federal government, is racial profiling, a violation of the safety and fundamental rights of our neighbors. It must stop. The psychological impact on our community, especially our children, is immense. They already contend with the stress of school shootings, and now they face the added fear of gunned ICE agents showing up to their schools and detaining them and or their parents. Our own state assembly member, Phil Ramos, confirmed that ICE showed up to snatch a parent within visual distance of the Brentwood schools on the first day of this school year. We demand that the town of Islip respond to this profiling, humanitarian, and human rights crisis by requiring that all ICE agents show a signed legal warrant, a badge, and their full facial features, and follow-up information before detaining anyone. Insist on laws that make schools and the immediate surrounding areas sanctuaries where warrants cannot be served for ICE activity. Direct all town and school personnel to remind those being detained of their rights, document and report any ICE activity, civil rights violations, concerns, and irregularities to the town, county, and state. Issue a formal statement denouncing these unlawful practices and reaffirm the town's commitment to our diverse community. This reign of terror must end. Our local and state governments must take a firm stance and insist that the Constitution, rule of law are followed, rather than merely executive orders. We demand that the town of Islip stand up for all contained within its borders. Thank you.
Thank you. Charles Weiss. Charles Weiss. Elsie Antonelli will be next.
Spell my name.
Charles, W-E-I-S-S. I have a different take on this. First of all, I love this clock. I feel like I'm pitching for the Mets, and there's a clock going on. I live within a half a mile of the range, and it's the noise factor, and it feeds into the same issue of ICE and politics of the moment. That we are now, I was here 10 years ago when, I think it was Supervisor Croce who went into this agreement. And it was supposed to be soundproofed at that time, that the federal government was going to do some work on it, and I don't believe it's been done. The level of shooting that goes on has increased dramatically. It used to be once in a while during the week. First of all, initially, it was a neighborhood shooting range. I would practice, I was 35 years in law enforcement, and I would practice before my, qualifications. And I would sight in my hunting rifle there. But when you're paying $3 a round to shoot your gun, you're not going to go blasting away the way it is now. I know the drills that they're doing. It's it'll be 3 rounds in 4 seconds, 12 people. That's 36 rounds going off in 4 seconds. So it's a lot of noise going off. And it goes on all day, not all day, but at different times, and you can't predict it. I can't imagine what it's like when a school shooting happens, and that same day, that's happening in earshot of Comac Road School, excuse me. And I think there are 5 or 6 daycare and school that are within earshot of that shooting range. As well as, and other things as well as, I don't know what they're doing with the lead that goes on. I know our range officers had to be tested annually. I don't know if Islip range officers are, or if the people in the neighborhood. There's microscopic amounts of lead go off every time you shoot that gun. It goes off in the air. It's in the ground there, too, if that's been remediated. I know the other ranges I've been to shut down occasionally, and then they'll clean the lead out. That leaches into the groundwater as well. And it was okay when you're using it Friday and Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday when it was hunting season. But now it's every day, and it's much, much more. And it's not just a 9mm that I was trained with. It's much, I can tell by the sound. It's a much bigger gun, and it sounds like a war zone. It's just not a place you want to live. People didn't want to live there because of Islip Speedway years ago, and it was cheaper to live there. That went away. Now there's a range, and I'm afraid it's going to affect our property values as well, the way that Speedway used to do. So I'm encouraging to get out of that arrangement, that lease with the federal government.
Elise Antonelli and Beth Laxer Limmer is on deck.
Good evening. Thank you for pronouncing my name right the second time. Appreciate that. My name is Elise Antonelli. Supervisor Carpenter and council members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Elise Antonelli, and I belong to many community organizations, Bay Shore Babylon Women's Huddle, Together Long Island, which include members of the Islip community, but I'm really here as an individual because I'm gravely concerned about the safety of our residents. To date this year, there have been at least 60 documented incidents of ICE agents unlawfully and without due process questioning, threatening, harassing, detaining, and deporting innocent and law-abiding Islip residents. And this information can be verified on the Islip Forward website. It's all documented there. Over half of those people, 37, were in Brentwood and Central Islip alone. Residents are afraid to bring their kids to school, do grocery shopping, or show up at appointments, even with those agencies that are now looking to deport them. Kids are living with the fear that when they come home from school, their parents will have been disappeared. The presence of ICE agents in the community is exacerbated by their access to the town of Islip shooting range. Now, marauding groups of ICE agents are stalking town streets, town parks, in the vicinity of town schools. The threat of innocent immigrants being arrested and deported looms heavily over this community here. There are things you can do and things you can't do. Things you can't do. You can't do anything about national legislation. You can't do anything on a global scale. You can't do anything about the fear that lives in the hearts of our immigrant community right now. That, sadly, is the state of affairs for the time being. But what you can do is something that you've done tonight, celebrate the community, but do more, do better, do further. Insist that ICE agents act in a lawful manner. As Tamara said, insist that they don't wear masks. Pass legislation to require that they have badges that are clearly visible and identifiable. Make sure that they abide by the rules of law, that they practice due process. And reduce their appearance in our community by canceling the contract that ICE has with the town of Islip for the shooting range. This will be the first step in you guys assuring that the community comes number one in your eyes. Thank you.
Beth Laxer Limmer, and Lauren is next.
Thank you. Laxer -Limmer. Hello, my name is Beth Laxer Limmer. I've lived in Islip for 22 years. I raised my daughter here. She's speaking next. She went to Islip schools. She graduated from Islip High School in 2024. I was a PTA member, class parent. I supported our schools because I believed in community, and that's the reason I'm here today. I am disturbed by what is happening. We've all seen the horrifying images that accompany Donald Trump's mass deportation program. Children crying as their parents are dragged away. Asylum seekers blindsided by ICE agents at courthouses. Beloved community members gone without a trace. People of all immigration statuses targeted for the color of their skin and the language that they speak. You've celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month today, and that's a beautiful thing. More. To quote a Newsday editorial from August 17th, heavily armed agents typically wearing masks, civilian clothing, and no identifying badges, suddenly anywhere, aggressively making arrests and spiriting people away. Even for Long Islanders who think that anyone should be deported, regardless of circumstances, those tactics should give pause. In Los Angeles, ICE took Andrea Velez, an American citizen, and detained her for 2 days, giving her nothing to drink for 24 hours. In Arizona, Jose Hermosillo, a 19-year-old U.S. citizen, was wrongfully detained for 10 days. In Florida, Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, a U.S. citizen, detained for more than 24 hours and charged with being an unauthorized alien, even though his mother provided a U.S. birth certificate and Social Security card. In July, Superintendent of Winooski School District in Vermont, Wilmer Javaria, is a citizen, and he was questioned for 5 hours as he returned home from a visit to Nicaragua. No law-abiding American citizen, resident, or immigrant should have to live in fear. And these are Justice Sotomayor's words after the September 8th Supreme Court ruling in favor of the Trump administration's use of racial profiling during immigration stops. We should not have to live in a country where government can seize anyone who looks Latino, speaks Spanish, and appears to work a low-wage job, rather than stand idly by while our constitutional freedoms are lost. I dissent. These tactics have no place in America. Every American, especially elected officials, should be concerned. Please support Councilmember Gaudron's resolution and terminate the town of Islip's contract with ICE. Thank you.
Lauren Limmer.
Lauren Limmer, Laurenlimmer.
Hi, my name is Lauren Limmer, and I spoke at last month's town hall and am deeply saddened and disappointed that I have to be standing here yet again asking you to support a common sense resolution that would protect the community that you claim to serve. After listening to countless constituents give you facts and testimonies of ICE terrorizing their families, you refuse to even bring Councilman Gaudron's resolution to a vote. I would like to remind you that you work for us. One of the core principles that America was founded on was actually another type of contract, social contract. It's the idea that we conform to a government and its laws in return for the government protecting and ensuring the safety of its people. By refusing to cancel the contract with ICE, you are not upholding your end of the bargain. One of the aspects of a contract is that both parties must agree, and this party, the community, does not want the contract. When people think the town is working with ICE, they're less likely to report crimes or call for help in an emergency. That's not just a problem for Hispanic or Latino families, that's a public safety issue. I don't understand, as public servants, how you can listen to the stories of fear from your constituents on how ICE is impacting their lives and then proceed to not help them by rejecting a resolution that could provide them peace of mind. I've lived in Islip my whole life. I've gone to Islip High School, and I graduated in 2024. I've been an active member in the community. I was a junior commissioner for Keep Islip Clean, and I actually received a certificate from the town right down the road at Town Hall. As an Islip resident and community member, I refuse to stay silent knowing that my neighbors feel unsafe. As a first-generation immigrant myself, I could not imagine going to school and feeling afraid that ICE would detain me. You were all here to celebrate Hispanic heritage, and it's disheartening that you are actively putting that very community in danger. This is my home, and it hurts me that the people who represent us are refusing to help us. Protect and support the community you just celebrated, and pass Councilman Guadrone's resolution to end the contract with ICE now.
Judy Fay. Mickey Hollander will be next.
Good evening. My name is Judy Fay, F-A-Y. I am a sister of St. Joseph of Brentwood. I'm here tonight to urge the Islip Town Board to cancel its contract with the U.S. Immigration Customs and Enforcement, ICE, and support Councilman Jorge Guadrone's resolution to do so. Justice these days is a relative concept, it seems, according to its exercise by various institutions. When governments can flout the law by kidnapping, beating, and literally shooting first and asking questions later, and resort to deploying the army against its own citizens, which is the classic definition of fascism and a police state, both civil and personal peace go out the window, and those governments can expect nothing less than full-blown uprisings and civil violence. The rifle range is a taxpayer-funded facility. It should be used for purposes that build trust and safety in our community, not for training federal agents whose actions and presence have instilled fear in our families and neighborhoods. We have heard and seen ICE operations in our communities, targeting people who have lived here for decades, students who go to school, or those who have worked hard and raised families here, not criminals. Councilman Guadrone's resolution is a common sense measure to end a harmful agreement and to restore trust with the residents of our community. Ending this contract sends a clear message, which is Islip Town stands with its residents, not with federal agencies who so fear. I urge you to end this contract and support Councilman Guadrone's resolution. It has been said that all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Mickey Hollander. Mickey Hollander. Mariana Vidal.
My name is Mariana, and I'm a sophomore and cheerleader at Islip High School. I'm here to express my concern about the harmful effects that ICE activity have on students in our school and throughout our community. ICE actions have definitely had an impact on people in my community. Some of my friends and classmates live in constant fear that a family could be separated, and that stress carries into school. It's hard to focus on homework or tests when you're worried whether your parents would be home when you get back. Even students who aren't directly at risk still feel the tension and creates an atmosphere of uncertainty that affects everyone's ability to concentrate and feel secure. As a student myself, I have observed that other students under this kind of pressure find it often difficult to concentrate, participate, or even attend school. Some stop coming to school entirely, academic performances drop, and emotional health suffers. In terms of daily life, some families are more cautious about moving freely. Parents may avoid driving long distances, attending events, or even going to the doctors out of fear of being stopped. This makes ordinary routines much more complicated and stressful. To add on, my mother was grocery shopping, and she has seen ICE agents aggressively detaining Hispanics. Their presence there frightened everyone around them. My question is, will this board commit to standing against deportations that tear apart families in our community and disrupt the lives of students in our schools? Thank you.
Thank you. Irene Schaefer. Irene Schaefer. Lisa Severely. Lisa? I'm right here. Okay.
Do you need me to spell anything, or you got my name? Sevimli. S-E-V-I-M-L-I. First name Lisa. Good evening, Town Council and Supervisor Carpenter. I want to tell you an experience that happened to me. I live in Patchogue, and on the 8th of August at 6:45 in the morning, there was an incident in front of my home. Lights were blaring through our front door window, and what happened was we noticed vehicles surrounding another vehicle. We assumed there was an accident because there were a bunch of cars blocking the road. So I went out there in my pajamas, and I went to record. As I got closer to the vehicles, because my street is a small street, what happened was that there was five or six men, with their faces covered with no identifying marks on whatever they were wearing, facing on top of another car that they surrounded, and they were demanding for citizenship papers through a cracked window from the driver. I went to the side of the vehicle, moved on the sidewalk, and I noticed it was a woman. The woman was in her 30s. I also noticed a kid in the car. They did not present her with any documentations. I asked from the sidewalk, why are your faces covered? If you're law enforcement, why are you covering your faces? I asked them for a badge. When I saw the woman's face, I put myself in her position. As a woman, to be surrounded by a bunch of men with no markers, with their faces covered, was terrifying. So I stepped in. I'm an American citizen, born and raised here, second generation. Once I stepped in, they tried to snatch my phone out of my hands. I told the woman in Spanish, because I am bilingual, not to sign anything, not to answer, not to open the door. They boxed her in. The woman was frightened. Her kid, who was about 14 years old, was terrified. I could see it in his face, and I have a recording of it. As I proceeded to tell them they're violating these people's constitutional rights, their 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Amendment rights, because they're still protected under our Constitution, because they are people, persons, and citizens of our county. I'm sorry. My point is that this is dangerous. I want you to please support Councilman Guadrone's proposal. Please stop giving them pathways to attack and hard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Barbara Keurig. Next speaker, Patricia Koch.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm reading a statement from a town-issued document. It's the town-issued statement. Islip officials counter misinformation about ICE training at the town range. You write, those attempting to politicize this matter are unnecessarily causing more distrust of our law enforcement agencies, especially in the communities that are vulnerable. And you conclude by saying the safety and protection of all our residents, despite race, religion, country of origin, remains our utmost concern. I'm here to say that we're not politicizing, but rather humanizing the issue. ICE operations have changed dramatically in the last 8 months from the previous 24 years. I want to paint a picture of the reality of what's happening in the communities. Islip residents, students, and seniors are afraid to go about their daily business because unidentified masked ICE agents, we think they're ICE agents, are picking up people, putting them into unmarked cars, whisking them away, and incarcerating them in jails, which are sometimes in other states. And they're doing this without arrest warrants or orders of removal or just cause. I'm sure by now you've heard about what happened in Brentwood on the first day of school. I think Assemblyman Ramos' statement about what happened sums it up perfectly. He writes, "What should have been a day of laughter turned into one of tears and despair. Children traumatized, unsure if their parents would return, is something no person with compassion can accept." He continues, "This is not only inhumane, it is un-American. It violates the very principles our nation was built upon. ICE is not protecting our community. They are terrorizing it. In doing so, they rob children of their innocence, parents of their dignity, and families of their right to exist in peace." He concludes, "I call on leaders at every level of government to rise to the occasion. Silence is complicity. This is not business as usual. This is a moral crisis that demands courage and action. I feel that letting ICE practice under the belief that you're protecting our residents simply doesn't make sense. These agents are leaving the firing range, putting on their masks and gear, and heading to the northern parts of the town to intimidate and arrest residents. If this board is truly concerned about the safety and protection of your residents, then you'll hear our pleas and pass the resolution to demonstrate your commitment to your residents. I want you to know that in April of this year, the National League of Women Voters, of which I am a member, declared that this country is in a constitutional crisis. I urge you to read their complete statement. Thank you.
Patricia Koch. Patricia Koch. Patricia Koch. Pat O'Farrell. Patrick O'Farrell. I know, of course. Patrick O'Farrell. Dana Garcia.
Hi. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I don't speak a lot publicly, but I just want to say good evening to all of you. Thank you for serving our communities. My name is Dana Garcia. I am from Holbrook, and I'm here tonight to speak out against ICE's operations in the town of Islip, including the use of town facilities, and to speak in support of Councilman Guadrone's resolution to not renew this lease. What ICE is doing in our neighborhoods is not making us safer. It's spreading fear, it's destabilizing families, and it's undermining trust that real public safety depends on, such as you. Like, we want to depend on our public safety officers. Just some examples. In June, Alvaro Castro Velasquez was taken by ICE while grocery shopping. He did enter the country as a teen illegally, but was granted special status, had no criminal record. While Alvaro is not from our town, his story is not an isolated case. Similar to Sarah Lopez Garcia, who is a member of the town of Islip, they self-deported. And these were, like, why would we want to lose promising young people with no criminal record, seeking legal status? These are only two specific examples, and you've heard a few others. Residents in Brentwood, Central Islip, and Bayshore have reported ICE agents entering their homes, and too often these arrests bypass the judicial system, eliminating due process that every human, yes, every human deserves. A U.S. citizen, many of us here, would never accept being taken from our home without a warrant signed by a judge. Yet ICE does this routinely to our immigrant neighbors. This double standard is not justice, it's discrimination. And it undermines the rule of law for everyone. In Germany, in 1933, I would be considered illegal as a Jewish person. and I would not have had citizenship. So when we start ignoring due justice for one group of people, like it just keeps happening. And so I am urging this board to not use our resources as for tools of ICE. We must protect sanctuary spaces like schools and places of worship. We must demand transparency and accountability about ICE activity in our neighborhoods. Our town should not be complicit in this. I urge this board to act in support of Councilman Guadrone's proposal to no longer let ICE use our shooting range. The choice is pretty simple. Do we allow fear and disregard for due process to define the town of Islip, or do we stand up for justice, dignity, and community? Thank you.
Darwin Pena. Darwin Pena. Okay. Kimberly Ciano is next.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. My name is Darwin Pena. It's a little unrelated about what we were talking about. My notice to be here is for a noise complaint. So I bought a house somewhere around October. I moved out on December. And early spring, my neighborhoods, they started making noise with the big boom boxes mounted on top of the car. The situation started escalating as the weather started getting warmer. I went to the town, and the town told me that I have to get 2 people to form a complaint, or I have to call the police. So I did my due diligence. I start getting called, I make 7 phone calls. I called the police 7 times. I also, based on the amendment that it was done, I subscribed for a noise device that is going to record all the noises, And as I said, I have 7 police reports with a noise device records. I went to the town, and the town told me that they can't do anything about it. I did mention to the person that I spoke with that it says on the amendment that it was done on August 9, 2022, that it calls for the town of Islip's attention to such language in the code will impede future prosecution of violations. That being said, they add the personal observation of a noise disturbance by a duly sworn police officer or a town Islip peace officer. So I did follow, and in section 35(2)(b says a noise disturbance may be substantiated by either of the following. I have plenty of evidence, but still the town couldn't do anything for me. And that is what I want to brought it up the attention to you. And that's it.
Okay, there is a park ranger in the back, or the deputy commissioner is here. You may want to speak with them, and also your address is not on here, so.
Yes, because mainly.
No, that's all right. Just go in the back and speak to that gentleman
All right,
there.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Kimberly Ciano.
Good evening. My name is Kimberly Ciano, C-I-A-N-O. For over 4 years, I have taught yoga to local residents at the East Islip, West Islip, Central Islip, and North Babylon public libraries. Each week, I teach around 100 residents, ranging in age from 12 to 85. They come from diverse backgrounds with various talents, interests, and life experiences. Some are immigrants, and some are the children of immigrants. And I am here to speak on behalf of all of my students who, as yoga practitioners, live by the core yogic principles of nonviolence and social justice. I am here today to respectfully urge that the Islip Town Council cancel its contract with DHS, which allows ICE to use our taxpayer-funded rifle range. On the town's website, I read your message claiming that our community's opposition to this contract is politicizing the issue, and that is eroding trust between the people and law enforcement. However, I would argue that it is the federal government's mandate to intern and deport as many immigrants as possible without due process that is eroding trust. 70% of immigrants currently being held in detention facilities nationwide do not have a criminal record. This administration's blatant abuse and disregard for our Constitution is what's truly eroding trust. This board's decision to ignore the pleas of Islip residents to end this contract is eroding trust. My father was a homicide detective in the NYPD. My father's father and my mother's brother also served at the NYPD. My father's youngest brother, police officer Glenn Ciano, was a Suffolk County police officer who tragically died in the line of duty in 2009. My younger sister's husband is currently a member of the Suffolk County Police Department. Do not conflate the mission of our local law enforcement agencies, which is to protect and serve our communities, with this administration's mission to detain and deport as many immigrants as possible. It is disingenuous, it is insulting. And as someone from a law enforcement family, I reject the claim that this contract is necessary to protect our communities. The people who are speaking here today on this issue, including the dozens who came to oppose this contract last month, we are the community. We are telling you that we do not support this contract, and we feel threatened by the presence of ICE in our communities, not safer because of it. As elected representatives, your job is to listen to and exercise the will of the people. Your complicity, indifference, and outright refusal to protect our immigrant neighbors will not silence us. We will not be ignored, and we will keep showing up to loudly defend vulnerable members of our community until you decide to do your job and listen. Thank you for your time.
Darlene Reese. Darlene Reese. Jay Ferguson. Joe Fritz.
Good evening. Joe Fritz, Brentwood resident. I'd like to thank the individuals who've shown up today to voice their displeasure with regard to the concept of retaining the individuals from ICE at the shooting range. I was taught by the Sisters of St. Joseph. I also like to laud the sister who was here tonight. I attended St. Anne's School, and I have fond memories. Throughout our lives, we make decisions. We decide what we to do with our life, what career path we will take. We decide what type of education we want to have, who we want to marry, how many children we should have. As an elected official, you too must make decisions as to what office you can run for. What road must be paved? What tax break should be given to a company seeking to do business with the town? Should we grant zoning or to recraft or downgrade the town's shape? Should we increase taxes? Today I'm asking the board to reconsider an issue that will have an impact beyond your scope. It causes you to think outside the box. Doing so, some fear that one's political career may take a wrong turn. One member of the board is the twilight of a career never imagined. Yet that person, in my mind, has consistently refused to make a decision based as to whether more good will be gotten or worse yet from the criticisms from one's leaders. Political office is an opportunity to do great harm. It's also an opportunity to do great good. If you think you can do it or if you think you can't do it, in either case, you're right. I asked the board to rethink Councilman Jorge Gordon's request to rescind the lease with ICE. I witnessed an ICE raid across the street from where I live in Brentwood at the rifle range located on Freeman Avenue. Your doing so will suggest to the 21% of the Hispanic heritage who live here that Islip government cares. To do otherwise is self-explanatory. I ask you to do the right thing by providing ICE, not providing ICE, with the tools to diminish those whose lives have been spent here. It is time to take a risk, and the result will be spiritual. Thank you.
Next speaker, Derek Stein.
Good evening again, Supervisor, members of the Town Council. I'm just here to ask that you please retable Councilman Guadrone's, reintroduce it, the resolution to prohibit to end the contract with the ICE at the rifle range, simply because it's the right thing to do. What ICE has done is create fear, and we currently live in a climate of fear across the country. And so what we've seen in Central Islip, in Brentwood, in Bayshore, has been just to worsen that. And it's to make it, and we've seen that play out in schools, where people are afraid to go to school, where families are afraid to report to police incidents of crimes that they might have witnessed because of the fear that that information could be shared with ICE, even if it isn't. And it's not at all. But just because that fear exists, now people are refusing to report those crimes, or refusing to access services, or report complaints that they might have, and to worsen the quality of life for both their residents as well as the rest of the town and its residents, who now have to deal with the consequences of ICE's actions. And so it's simply the right thing to do. And we've seen it with Sarah, another case, not from Islip Town, but Sarah Elizabeth Lopez Garcia from Suffolk Community College, who was an honor student who was detained by ICE, who's from Mastic, and was detained in Louisiana. What purpose does that serve? How is that helping the community? If you're detaining an honor student, somebody who is doing the right thing 100% the way, and is being detained and sent to Louisiana in a prison to be deported to El Salvador, a country that they might have left because they were unsafe, it's not doing the community a service. So I just ask that please do the right thing, reintroduce Councilman Guadrone's resolution, and pass it, and we can do the right thing as a town. Thank you.
There are no other cards. I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion. Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second.
Second.
By Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed, the public portion is closed. We will go to the agenda. First item on the agenda is the meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency. Mr. Walzer.
Motion to convene.
A motion to convene. We have a motion and a second. A quorum is present. We are convened.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, members of the agency board. John Walzer, Executive Director, 40 Nassau Avenue, Islip, New York. I have several items for your consideration today. The first item would be to approve the minutes from the last agency board meeting on August 12th, 2025.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed?
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is an amended authorizing resolution between the agency and Galil Importing Corporation located at 45 Gilpin Avenue in Hauppauge.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second. Second. By Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed? It is approved.
The next item I have for your consideration is an authorizing resolution between the agency and FW Web Company located at 31 Windsor Place in Central Islip.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
And the last item I have for your consideration is an authorizing resolution between the agency and Benchmark Senior Living located at 117 East Main Street in East Islip.
Are there any questions? Motion? A motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second. Second. By Councilman McElway. All those in favor, opposed, approved.
That's all I have for you this evening.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, we stand adjourned. Item 2 are the Board of Cleanup resolutions. Jeff?
Good evening, Madam Supervisor, members of the Town Board and the Town Clerk. Jeffrey Panache, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street. Islip. I have 14 properties on for your consideration here this evening. Number one, to board up and clean up the premises located at 7 East Lakeland Street in Bay Shore. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unsecure accessory structure with open doors, allowing access to its interior, as well as overgrown vegetation and litter and debris, including discarded wooden pallets, pieces of cut plywood, various household items, and an abandoned pool ladder, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion? Motion. Motion by Councilman McElway. Second by Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 2 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 3 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 4 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. And number 5 has also been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 6, to clean up the premises located at 38 Tamarack Street in Islip. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation on all 4 sides of the property, as well as litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions? Motion. Motion by Councilman McElway, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 7 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 8 has also been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 9 has been withdrawn as the town has an existing resolution at this location that it can use to address the current issues at the property. Number 10 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 11, to clean up the premises located at 136 Udall Road in West Islip. On this vacant property, there now exists overgrown vegetation throughout, as well as litter and debris, including discarded construction items, 55-gallon drums, 5-gallon buckets, plywood, and decaying fencing, which constitutes a nuisance and creates a fire safety and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in this premises.
Any questions?
Yeah, Jeff, I just have a question on that one, because I had gotten calls in my office. That was originally a house that burned down about 2 years ago, and it was originally plywood boarded up, and I think we made them take the plywood down and clean it up, so we're going in to just clean and maintain the property, not securing it anymore, because there's no house there left. The house has been demolished.
Yes, it was submitted as a cleanup resolution,
As a
so it would
cleanup
only be
resolution.
for the cleanup purposes.
Okay, and we notified them and did.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I have a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 12 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. Number 13 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. And also number 14 has been withdrawn as it is now in compliance. And that's all I have.
Thank you,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
Okay, we will move to number 3, the bid awards. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 4, the option year resolutions. I know you've reviewed them all. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 5, authorization to participate in an update to the 2025 Suffolk County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. Are there any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 6, Town Board approval to ensure that the current base proportion of either the homestead or non-homestead class does not exceed the adjusted base proportion of the immediately preceding year by 1% in accordance with real property tax law, section 1903, and the Town of Islip Local Law Number 3 of 1982. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second.
Second.
By Councilman McElway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 7, authorization to supervise to enter into professional services agreement with Edmunds GovTech, Inc. for software services related to the town's real property management and tax collection system. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second. by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. 8 of the special events, there's a listing there. Any questions? Motion?
Weren't there some motions to set aside the rules?
Yeah, so I made a motion to waive the rules and include the event fire department open house to the list.
I have no objection to that motion.
What are you adding?
The event fire.
It's on as O. It's on as O. It's on the list
Oh,
as O.
okay, it's on.
It's on the list as O, but it shouldn't be because under our rules, we have to make a motion to suspend the rules to allow it to be added late. Correct?
It's not on the list, no, not the resolution I have. I have a
Yeah.
resolution with it added separately, if you'd like me to hand them out, but the one in the packet
Does not include O.
Does not include O.
Right, so let's address the one we have in the packet. Is there a motion?
Councilman, you made a motion, I'll second the motion.
But that's not before us yet.
Number 8, he'd like to suspend the rules so he can add O. So the first motion is to suspend the rules. He's made that motion, I'll second.
Okay. Just to reiterate what the clerk said, she has it as a separate item. So if you want to pass it out.
So you want to just do 8 on its own and then?
Yeah,
come
that's
back?
what I was trying to do.
Okay, but before we can do 8 on its own, don't we have to suspend the rules first, is my question.
No.
Why?
8 is here as presented.
8 is as
And we'll
written, and we're
vote
gonna
on
suspend the
8
rules
as
for the others.
presented, and then we will take what he has given a copy
That's
to
the way I
her.
understand the rules. I think we have to suspend the rules first before we can add O. That's the way I understand it. I'll defer to council.
That is correct. If you're looking to add O, you would need to
Suspend the rules.
suspend rules first and then vote on the
Fine.
revised resolution.
Councilman has made a motion to suspend the rules, I second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules to add O to the agenda of special events. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. Now O is added to the special events.
Can I ask a question?
I make the motion to introduce a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new events to this resolution for your consideration, and there are types of, Councilman, please.
I think,
Go ahead.
Those are the new items to be added.
okay.
O and P are added.
O and P are
That
added.
one that's being passed around right now.
The other ones were already on the list, yeah?
Correct.
I have no objection to O being added, I'll second that motion.
Can you pass the copies down? Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
I also have an event to add, Fall Fest for Sable, which is P. On it, do we have to suspend the rules again, or
That's what I'd ask, that's what I asked in my email.
do we have to suspend the rules again, Council?
Since it's being done separately, yes.
So both of the new items are included in the RI.
Yes. So there's 2 resolutions, O and P.
Yeah. Let's deal with O first. Yeah, we've had a motion to suspend the rules, and O was adopted. And I think we took a vote on the motion, didn't we, Supervisor?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So now we'll deal with P. John, you want to suspend the rules with
Yeah,
respect to?
make a motion to suspend the rules to add, make a motion to suspend the rules. Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules to add item P.
Yes.
Correct.
I make a motion to add item P, Fall Festival and Costume Party.
I'll oppose the motion to suspend the rules. So 4-1.
Okay.
Just as it relates to item P.
All right, so we have it before us. All those in favor of approving
Aye.
item P?
Aye.
And Councilman, are you opposed to?
If the rest of the board, sense of the board is to add it, I'm fine with adopting the special
Okay.
events calendar as amended with the 2 added items.
Okay, very good. You have that, Linda? Okay. Okay, let us move to item 9. Authorization for supervisor to execute a professional services agreement with Johnson, Kokata, and Lucchese Engineers PC in connection with runway 6 Hold Bay on Taxiway G at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Are there any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 10, authorization for supervisor to execute the first option year to the JetBlue airline use and lease agreement with Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 11, authorization supervisor to execute professional services agreement with Rosemar Contracting for runway 6 Hold Bay on Taxiway G, construction at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
By Councilman Lorenzo.
Second.
Second by Councilman McGelway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 12, authorization supervisor to execute change order number 3 to the agreement with Sky Energy LLC for the purpose of providing additional consultant services for the airport's air service development program. Motion by Councilman O'Connor.
Second.
Second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Authorization supervisor to execute a waiver of the right of first refusal for premises known as 1644 Coates Avenue, Holbrook. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second
Second.
by Councilman McGelway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 14, authorization supervisor to enter into a 2-year contract with Water and Sewage Treatment Enterprises, Inc. for contract 25-2027, Town of Islip Sewer District, number 1, pump station maintenance at Lexington Village condominiums in Bay Shore. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman McGelway, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 15, authorization of the town clerk to advertise for public hearing to amend the Town of Islip Uniform Traffic Code. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second
Second.
by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 16, authorization for supervisor to execute a license agreement with the East Islip Anglers Association, Inc. for a portion of town-owned real property at 333 Bayview Avenue, East Islip. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor.
Second.
Second by Councilman McGelway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 17, authorization for supervisor to execute the Third Amendment to the management lease agreement for the operation of the Brentwood Water District of the Town of Islip and Suffolk County Water Authority. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 18, authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with Nelson and Pope Engineering, Architecture and Land Surveying, PLLC, to provide on-call environmental consulting and permitting services for the lake water improvement at Byron Lake Park. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 19, authorization supervisor to enter into agreement with L.K. McLean Associates, P.C. for engineering and construction maintenance services for various monitoring services for various road resurfacing projects in the Town of Islip. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman McGelway. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 20, authorization supervisor to execute an agreement with Brant Marine, Inc. for contract DPW 6-2025, Browns River Marina Construction, West Marina. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 21, authorization to town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider amending Chapter 36 and Chapter 68 of the Islip Town Code. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 22 of the appropriation transfer. Any questions?
I do have a question. You want to go first? Did you say?
No.
Rob? The original package that was distributed to us, which we reviewed at my briefing on Friday, and I'm sure with the other council members at their briefing, included funding for estimated costs for outside counsel and consultants to advise the terminal and integration RFQ process and project through December 2025, and called for $1.2 million.
That's correct.
And then today, at 4:21, you sent around a very comprehensive email attaching a new resolution for the same thing, or in essence, more comprehensively addressing all of the items that you want addressed with this transfer resolution. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Transfer appropriation.
That is
So
correct, sir.
this new item that you attached to your email, distributed at 4:21 today, is to replace the other appropriation transfer of 1.2 million?
No, and I apologize for the confusion with that. The attachment that was sent to the email earlier was to explain the financial transactions that have taken place since March of 2025 up until July of 2025. That was the money that was originally allocated in the March Town Board appropriation transfer through the authorizing resolution. The resolution that is being presented to you tonight under resolution number 22 for the appropriations transfer in the amount of $1.2 million is still the authorizing resolution that we are seeking to continue to fund the procurement process.
And the other appropriation transfer that was part of the package that I reviewed on Friday, called for $300,000 for the past.
That's correct.
Funds for council on this project, that's being worked into the 1.2 million, and the 300,000 has been removed.
The $300,000 has been removed from this appropriation transfer as part of the $1.2 million that is up for a vote tonight. Out of that $1.2 million, that $300 has been included in that amount of money. That is money that has been previously owed for the months of August and September. The $1.2 million covers us from the months of August through the end of this fiscal year.
Okay, so I was confused, probably because I read it as I was sitting here, based on the time that it was distributed to us. This resolution is, I'm reading it now and I'm seeing it. This is from February 25th of 2025.
That is correct,
so
sir.
This is kind of setting a backstory for us.
It was
This
a
is what you previously approved, and this explanation is why you need the 1.2 million.
That is correct. It was a historical explanation of where we were and where we're at today from a financial standpoint, so the town board could have the privity of understanding what we're asking for tonight in the appropriations transfer of the 1.2 million.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to approve so much of the resolution other than the $1.2 million appropriation transfer. I feel I would like to make a motion to table the $1.2 million appropriation transfer. I'm only asking to table this resolution so we as a board can get some more information on this proposed project. As you all know, for proper economic development. In February, the county released an RFEI, and nothing to date I have heard, to the best of my knowledge, has the county come back with any information regarding the RFEI. There's been an LDC that's been formed a while back, probably over a year now, maybe more. To the best of my knowledge, I don't even know if the LDC has met. So before any more money is spent on this proposed project, I think we pause, take a step back, and find out what's going on with all of our partners in this proposition for this $1.2 million appropriation transfer for this possible move of the North Terminal. This is a generational project that's going to affect my district and our town for decades to come, and I think we should have as much information that we can with our other partners within the county before we move forward on spending any more money on this.
All right, we have a motion to remove that one appropriation transfer and do that separately. Is that what you're suggesting?
I understand, Supervisor, that he's tabling that.
Table.
Yes.
I'd like to table the $1.2 million, approve the rest of the appropriation.
I'd
transfer.
ask the commissioner to come back up. I want to find out if tabling that for one cycle will cause any issues.
Yes, it does have potential ramifications. The fact of the matter is that tabling the resolution, I believe, does cause some complications to the procurement process. As investors, seeing a lack of certainty surrounding this project, I'm not sure what the outcome will be, but it doesn't help progress the project forward to table the resolution.
Commissioner, we correct me if I'm wrong, we have no, from my when I remembered the first resolution appropriation transfer that we passed, it was for putting out the RFQ for the town, the county. I was told that the county needs us to do this so we can move forward together and they can put out their RFEI. Have you, at this point, heard anything regarding the RFEI from the county?
I know that the RFEI is still active and that they have proposals. That is about the extent that I know of where the county is with their process.
The LDC that has been formed, to the best of your knowledge, do you know if they've even met?
The LDC has not met.
Okay. So,
If I could, Councilman, I met with county executive today, and they are very much wanting to move forward with the process. I think that tabling this would not really send the right kind of message. We had a very robust and professional RFQ process. The responses that we got were absolutely incredible from what I've been told, that each of the respondents is eminently qualified on an international level, and the possibility is really tremendous. And I think that we would be doing everyone, not just the airport or the town, but the region, a disservice not to move forward with this at this time.
I
This has
appreciate
been something that, we had Industry Day, we had the consultants there, it was an opportunity to understand the scope and the possibility that this presents for us. Again, I think it would be very foolish for us at this point to table it.
I'm not a no on a project like this for the future, but this is generational for my district, and we don't have any hardcore evidence that anything is moving forward yet with our partners in the county.
Well, I'm sorry, then you're not taking my word. I met with the county executive today, and this was very much a topic of discussion. And they are moving forward with it, and he, was anxious to see it moving quickly and not languishing any longer.
So-
This has been something that's been talked
So
about
we-
for a long
so
time.
we can table it if we get the votes, and once we have some more information going forward, we can revisit it. at a different
I
time.
have a question.
Councilman Guadron.
Moving forward with these appropriation transfers as it is, does it imply any commitments to any of the project parts?
No, it does not imply a commitment to move this project any forward than through the end of the procurement process at the end of this fiscal year in December to get us to the point that we have proposers, selected proposer, and we have tangible documentation of statement of qualifications that becomes the intellectual property of the town of Islip thereafter.
This, once again, is a generational project from my district. We have the MacArthur Business Alliance that we, as a town, puts money towards for an economic development plan. The county has put money towards for an economic development plan. That's coming out next week, within the next 7 to 10 days. We've all heard about it. I would love to hear what they have to say about it, why we're doing it. To me, there's no reason why. We spent more than the $750,000 already. I'm assuming.
You are correct. The $750,000 has been spent, which is why we're here tonight asking for an additional appropriations transfer.
But have we spent to this date, Commissioner, more than the $750,000 on this process?
Yes. Total in the project process, yes, we've spent about $1.1 million.
Okay, 1.1 million. So we're here asking for another 1.2 that we're not even stopping and waiting to listen to our community partners like the MacArthur Business Alliance that we, as a town and the county, has put money towards for an economic development plan. I'm not saying let's take this off forever. I'm saying let's table this, let's see what comes out of it, let's hear where the county's at, because I'm speaking for myself. I have not spoken with the county executive regarding this project. I have not spoken with anyone from any of the other avenues in the county about this project. I have not heard anything on it. I'm just asking let's pump the brakes, let's table this, let's get some more information, and then we can move forward. This is a lot of money.
I truly understand your position, Councilman Lorenzo, but I'd be remiss if I did not say that this does potentially jeopardize this procurement process.
I appreciate that.
To the motion, I would ask, I can appreciate where you're coming from, Councilman. The airport does reside in your district, and a part of it affects the adjoining district, Councilman O'Connor's district. But the airport is a regional asset. The airport is bigger than one person's district. The airport is the town-owned airport that has regional economic significance to the entire region, the town, the county, and Long Island for that matter. And I am not willing to take a chance in jeopardizing this process that we have spent an inordinate amount of time on, not even talking about the finances. But then let's also remember that this money that we're talking about is money that can only be spent in the airport. This is not affecting taxpayer money. This is
I
airport
disagree
money.
with that, Supervisor. This is taxpayer money all around. Do we not pay federal taxes as taxpayers? This is federal grants in the airport that we hear. That's our money that we pay. I don't know if anyone else here on this board pays federal taxes, but I do, pay a hell of a lot of them. There are passenger fees that come in from constituents that live in our town that go towards this airport money. When someone says to me that this is not taxpayer money, I disagree with you wholeheartedly on that. These are hardworking people's money that we pay our taxes every year for, and all I'm asking to do is let's pump the brakes. Let's get some more information on where this is going, because this is a generational effect on our area, our town. And it is a regional airport, and it's a beautiful regional airport. I believe you said today that it's number 2 right now in the vote, and you urged our constituents to vote to see where we can get to number 1. So to pump the brakes for this, to find out where we're at and where the county's at is going forward with us as partners, I don't find is really, a catastrophe at this time.
Well, I'm sorry, then we're going to have to respectfully disagree because I heard the commissioner say that this could have an adverse effect, and I'm not willing to take that chance.
I have a question. If we pause this for a month, there will be an irreparable damage to the project?
I can't answer that question because that's unknown. Could that be a possibility? Yes, it could be.
And that means that any monies that have been invested in this procurement process will be lost if we do not proceed to it ends on that final study and report that we will be looking at to make an informed determination or decision as to which project we should move forward.
Yes, Councilman, that's a fair assertion.
Thank you.
I've been in development my entire career. They'll be back.
I'm sorry. I hate to be the weenie in the room. I always am. But we are operating under Robert's rules. There's been a motion. After there is a second, I would ask for a discussion on the motion, please. There has not yet been a second.
I'll second the motion.
All right. Councilman, I'd ask for a discussion on the motion, if I may.
Sure.
Right now, your motion lumps 2 things together. 1, it approves the appropriation transfer as is, and 2, it separates out the airport resolution, and it's one motion, and it separates out the airport resolution and asks for that to be tabled. It puts me in the position as a fellow council member of having to make the decision on 2 separate items that are unrelated. So I would ask you to reconsider your motion and make 2 separate motions. 1, to approve the appropriation transfer as is, carving out the airport appropriation transfer, which we can deal with separately, so that I'm not put in a position where if I agree with the airport appropriation transfer, I'm forced to vote no with all of these other worthy appropriation transfers that are included in the resolution.
Sure.
I'm asking for that reconsideration on your motion, please.
Sure, Councilman.
Well, that sounds like a reasonable request. Councilman?
I make a motion to table the appropriation transfer in the amount of $1.2 million for funding for estimated costs for outside legal counsel and consultants to advise on terminal rail and integration RFQ process and project through December 2025.
All right, I would ask you to amend that resolution based on what Councilman O'Connor said, rather than table that part of the appropriation resolution to carve that particular thing out. Make a motion.
How would you like me to say it, Supervisor? Tell us.
Well, if you're tabling
I
that.
think everyone here understands what I'm trying to say. I said I would like to make a motion to approve the appropriation transfer, accept the $1.2 million appropriation transfer.
Okay,
So
stop
your
there.
motion.
That's the
your
motion.
That's your motion.
That's
Okay.
what I said from the
I'll
beginning.
No, you didn't,
No.
but that's
I
okay.
did say that from the beginning. You can pull back the record.
Okay. Your motion is to approve the appropriation transfer and
Carving out.
as is, and carving out the appropriation transfer as it relates to the
That's what I
airport.
said from
I
the
will
second.
second that motion.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve the appropriation transfers with the exception of that one that has been carved out that will be considered separately. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The appropriation transfers with the exception of the airport has been approved. Now I would ask that we consider the appropriation transfer for the airport.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay. We have that motion before us. Is there any discussion on it? We have a motion and a
And
second.
we didn't originally discuss the motion to table it,
That's
to
fine.
not actually vote it
Okay.
down.
We can, so let's have the motion to table that.
Did we not discuss the motion to table it already?
Right,
Yes.
you make the motion, Mike, you second, is that correct?
Sure.
To table the appropriation
To table the
transfer for
appro-
the airport.
Yes.
$1.2 million.
So we have a motion and a second to table. All those in favor of tabling the airport resolution?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Opposed. We have 3 opposed, 2 in favor of tabling. The resolution to table fails.
So I'd make a motion to consider the appropriation transfer, that portion of the appropriation transfer resolution dealing with the appropriation transfer at the airport.
And I will second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
No.
Okay, we have 3 in favor, 2 opposed. The resolution passes. Let us move then to item 20.
Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you, members of the
You're
town board.
welcome. Item 23, Town Board approval for the endorsement of a proposed joint consolidation and dissolution agreement between the Bay Shore Fire Protection District and the Bay Shore Fire District, and authorizing the town clerk to publish for a public hearing. Any
Make the motion.
questions? Motion by Councilman McElway. Second by Councilman Quadron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 24, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider adopting a local law that would authorize the town of Islip budget officer to prepare and submit to the town board a balanced tentative budget. Make that motion. Second.
Before you make the motion, I have a motion to table,
Second.
May I ask why we're tabling?
because the resolution deals with a document, discusses it in several whereas clauses and resolve clauses that we don't have yet. It's going to be delivered to us tomorrow morning. So I'm uncomfortable voting on a resolution, setting a date for a public hearing for a document that I haven't seen yet.
Well, the document was emailed. However, you know, we were here when it came. But I would think that we would do well to move forward with the public hearing to give the public as much time and notice as possible. We want to do things transparently, and to delay setting a public hearing, I think would not be fair.
I'm sorry, and I don't mean to reach across here because that would be rude. May I see that document, the blue binder, please? Under New York State town law, ceremoniously, the comptroller is to deliver to the town clerk what is known as the town budget for the upcoming year. It's a ceremonious thing, but under New York State law, you must do it by a certain date. That was done tonight. We saw it done right at the outset of the meeting, where we said, before we start the meeting, I'd like to present the budget to the town clerk, and we did that. I can't be expected to have read this, never having seen it, and just present it ceremoniously to the clerk today. There have been emails circulated. The controller has circulated emails about what we can expect to see in the budget, why we can expect to see certain things in the budget, where we will find certain things in the budget, a justification for reasons of. I've received all of those emails. I've read them very thoroughly. I have not been presented with this document. The last email I got from the town controller said, it will be delivered to my offices tomorrow. I feel uncomfortable voting on a resolution on a document that I haven't seen yet.
I agree with Councilman O'Connor. It'd be irresponsible of me as an elected official to vote on this resolution.
Okay, well, again, just to remind everybody, we're not being asked to vote on the budget, opine on the budget, or anything, but rather to set the public hearing so that the public has as much notice as possible to know when the public hearing is going to be to discuss the budget. But we have a motion that you made,
Yes.
right?
Second.
To table this particular resolution, and Councilman Lorenzo, you second it?
Yes?
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of tabling,
Aye.
setting the
Aye.
public hearing?
Aye.
We have 3 in favor. Okay, we have 4 in favor of tabling. The motion to table passes. Please mark me as a no. Item 15, item 25, the reappointment of John Rotzman as a member of the Board of Assessment Review for a 5-year term ending on September 30th, 2030. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Resolution 26, the appointment of Victoria Ryan to the Town of Islip Planning Board. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman McElway, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have 1 no and mark me as an abstention. The resolution passes. And motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second, we stand adjourned.
The rules of the town board meeting procedures. to
Excuse me.
resolution.
Excuse me, did we vote on the adjournment or are we
No.
still live? Okay.
We're still live.
You may go ahead. Go ahead, Councilman.
Yes, I make the motion to waive the rules and procedures for town board meetings, so I can introduce a resolution.
We have a motion to waive the rules to include the resolution.
I emailed this resolution early this morning to all of you, and I have printed copies here if you want to. I am sure that all of us want violent criminals to be removed from our community. However, community groups have alleged that a deliberate campaign of intimidation and terror by ICE officers is occurring within the town of Islip, resulting in fear, trauma, and destabilization of immigrant families and local businesses across the town. And in the interest of safeguarding the mental integrity and well-being of the constituents of the town, I propose that the town board suspends access to the rifle range for ICE officers until such time as the town board determines the community concerns with respect to the conduct of ICE officers have been adequately addressed. So that's the bulk of the resolution.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I think deferring back to Councilman O'Connor, we have to first make a motion to waive the rules, correct?
That's correct.
Then
That's
hear
motion
the,
that's before it, so we'll look at
and then hear the resolution.
No, first you have to make the motion to
Okay.
suspend the rules. There's a
Yep.
motion. Is there a second?
I will second the motion to suspend the rules.
So we have the resolution before us that we just heard.
No, it's a motion to suspend the rules, and then we have to vote on the resolution.
All those in favor of waiving the rules?
No.
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 Yes.
All right, are we voting on the motion or we voting on the rules?
Suspend the
Or-
rules.
So the motion
The rule
fails.
suspension.
Ah, the rules, I'll vote yes on the suspend rules. I thought that was the motion, I'm sorry.
Okay, we will take that vote again.
So motion to waive the rules of town board meetings and procedures to introduce a resolution.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Roll call on the vote to suspend the rules.
Councilman Guadrone,
Yes.
Councilman McElway,
Yes.
Councilman O'Connor,
No.
Councilman Lorenzo,
Yes.
Madam Supervisor,
No.
motion passes 3-2 to suspend the rules.
All right, so I presented a motion, I emailed it to you early this morning. I think it's redundant that I read it again. It is related to the ICE officers' use of the rifle range of the town. The resolution proposes to suspend the use of ICE officers of the rifle range.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? There is no second. The motion then fails for lack of a second.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.
So which one?